As I'm Mike.
I'm Tim.
I'm Katia.
Yeah.
And this is the Board Game Rundown, and we are live from two of our basements because we cover games from top to bottom. Tim, how are you tonight?
I'm good. I picked a really messed up day to try to quit caffeine. So cheers to that.
I already told him he also picked the wrong day to quit sniffing glue as well.
Yeah, I say that every day.
Tim, you got to introduce our guest.
Oh my gosh. How do I introduce the person that needs no introduction?
No, stop it.
Is it Katia or Katia? I always say Katia, but I church it up. What's your Katia? Okay, we'll say it the right way, Mike. I will say it the right way. Yeah, this is Katia Howatson, famous because of the Katia challenge, the challenge of her own name that went viral during COVID. And people made fun of me for wearing pajama pants in my picture. But I say, I don't care. Be comfortable.
Nor should you.
Be you. That's
Always
it.
be comfortable.
That's it. And the crazy thing, so the Katia challenge, if you didn't know, and it's funny because Katia is like 7 feet tall, as you stack up all your favorite board games and you see how many you can get in that amount. So because of her massive height, it was fun to see like how many. It's like 47 games, lots of big boxes in there.
You know what's funny is the first time I met you, which was at Gen Con last year, I believe one of the first things I said to you was something along the lines of, now I see why you couldn't stack that many games up. And I gotta look. I was like, oh crap, I shouldn't have went with a height joke. I knew it.
And despite that, all this time later, she's still here. But really, the most exciting thing that you might know Katia for is her mosaics out of board game pieces and she's got calendars. There's another Kickstarter coming soon, right?
Soon, early May. I'm aiming at the first Tuesday of May. So I should really get started on that Kickstarter page.
What's the official name? I don't want to say it wrong.
The official name of the calendar is Board Game Mosaic Calendar.
Thank you.
So you'll be looking for the 2024 Board Game Mosaic Calendar.
Right on. Yeah. I mean, I would say you could still go buy the 2023 one because it is got some awesome stuff in there. I know Mike's got it hanging up behind him somewhere.
I have it right there, and right now I could probably swivel this. Hold on.
Oh, there's a window. She's not in the basement.
Wait, no, do you see it? Do you see
I do.
It?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's currently on the Spill by Smirk and Dagger.
I actually had to switch it to April before we started. I'm terrible at turning my calendars over.
I just turned the one at work like a day ago, so I get it.
That's okay. My friend Shannon lost hers, so things
happen. No. So
look at that. See, we have
awesome. We're gonna get lots of backers in here on the calendar. I guarantee it.
Well, yeah. And I'm happy to see that people like the challenges because it's not something that would appear time consuming to make, but it really is because. Like even finding the pieces that people had to hunt for in the calendar mosaics, it was hard because I had to find like a single piece that isn't replicated in the mosaic so that people could actually go and find it. So it was, it takes time to do all those little things, but I'm happy that people enjoy them. So,
all right, Mike, can you cue up the banner that the thing I asked you to make? Because I'm about to do it. I'm about to do it.
Okay. Let me get it queued up. you caught me a little off guard, but that's okay.
I know you're playing with your laptop,
and I may not even have the banner right. I kind of brain farted, so this may not even be what you wanted.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say Tim asked a dumb question.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, I did something along those lines.
Okay, Katia, do you ask the company's permission to do the game? Like, so if you like when you did Frosthaven, do you ask? Do you reach out and say, "Hey, I'd like to do"?
Yes. In the previous years, every time, basically, I would partner with the publisher, and we would decide which game they wanted me to make, and then I would do their logo as well. So it was sort of like a package deal.
Nice.
So yeah, and then I would draw a sketch, send it to them, and then we kind of decide like, yeah, is it going to look good or no? But this year is different. This year, I didn't do a partnership at all. I just did whichever game I wanted.
You just did whatever you wanted.
Nice.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever said, "Do not do my game"?
No.
Whatever you do.
No,
please.
And if they did, that would be really bad PR.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I would think so.
I'm just saying that's like a really kind of. First of all, I don't just replicate the artwork, so it's not like I'm going. It's not like I'm just.
No, you're doing a unique piece. Yeah, you're doing a unique piece. You're not just.
For Frosthaven, obviously, I had to pick a character that was recognizable, so that's something that we had like talked about together. But this year, no, it's like I'm doing, whatever I wanted.
That's
that's
awesome.
I think I was just at the point where, I just wanted a little bit more freedom in what I made. Obviously it's going to be less lucrative for me because when publishers pay to be in there, it's
sure.
It's part of the income. So I've been working on that and not making a penny out of that so far. So please back it because otherwise it's like this could very much be the last year. Like it's not, I don't make a fortune from this stuff. I do it because people love it. But it's so time consuming to make each piece and to coordinate the fulfillment. This year I had to move to a different warehouse. So all of that was a mess. So yeah, like every little bit of support that people give, by either backing or just, the little bits here and there, it helps. Speaking
of time consuming, I want to hear like how this became a thing, like when you got started, why you got started, and how it morphed into doing this Frosthaven ice troll that took you how many hours again?
Well, I don't want to talk about that one.
So, Mike, I can tell you exactly what happened and how she got started. She was trying to put away Lords of Waterdeep, and she tilted the box on the side, and it cracked open, and all the bits
with the original insert
poured out the side because of that original insert. And then she looked at it and she was like in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where he's making the sculpture out of mashed potatoes. Katia's like, this means something. And Katia then saw like a character, like the Lords of Waterdeep cover recreated from the pieces as they fell on the ground. And then the rest is history. See, I knew that one.
See, so I noticed that, like you said, you're doing stuff that you want to do now. So like you're doing some older games, not necessarily.
I decided to include some like older games that people know. So this one is Love Letter. The previous one is Seven Wonders. This is
Fox in the Forest.
Yeah, because it was super popular and I loved the game. Still do. So yeah, it's this one I did for Brass.
Nice.
Brass Birmingham. I had to like it.
So
it was already. What's funny is it was already planned in my list of games I wanted to make for the calendar, and then it hits number one. I'm like, well, that one is jumping the queue. I have to do it now, and so I did.
It's crazy because if you look at this image like from a distance, or even like if I look at my screen, which is like shrunk, you can see the shading on those barrels. Like I actually see the light source on this photo, and then you look in, you're like, wait a minute, those are just gold components from the game. Like you used iron clays to create depth, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, I used a lot of the little like wagons and stuff like that on the right hand side, like all of those on the right hand side where like it's more golden on the like on the ground. It's all from the game. Like there's that one because it was. So there is a possibility at some point that I'm going to be moving into like doing 3D stuff.
What?
Whoa.
Like actual like gluing things down and it becomes like a one of a kind piece.
Nice.
And this one, so this game, basically one of the designers is something that he has asked in the past. So this was more like almost a trial to see how much can I make with the game pieces.
I don't. Maybe I missed it and I was scrolling
stuff, but you know, like I'm happy with how much I was able to fit in there in this.
Yeah, you should be. That's amazing.
Maybe I missed this comment. I might have been looking at my computer, but that's great.
Like zero artistic ability.
Since he's buffering, I can jump in. We have number 1, Timbot.
I was waiting for like
Timbot error number 1.
I see. Oh,
I really.
Hold on. So the person asking about Whiskey Wednesday, are they saying that because like we forgot to talk about the whiskey we're drinking?
No, I think he was just happy. He just likes
our show.
Likes our show.
Yep. And we like having Nick's in our comments. So there you go.
Okay.
So anyways, I was going to say I have no artistic ability, no artistic talent. And I see somebody just create this and not just it's insulting that you can draw that to me and then you can then create it out of, you just find board game pieces and you can put it all together. Like your brain has the ability to see this in the colors it needs to be and piece it all together. It's such an alien concept to me. I look at it and I'm like, this is incredible. How does somebody do this?
I used to be able to draw with a little bit of a graphite. I was always terrible with paint. I dance a little bit. That's as creative as I can get.
That's it. Creative dance.
I've said this before, and I want to make sure I say it while you're with us. I'm always impressed with things I cannot do myself. So board game design. No chance. I mentioned to you earlier, one of the reasons I like content creation is I get instant feedback. I get instant gratification. I put myself out there. If people like it, they can give me a thumb or they can tell me to go to hell. I'm good with that. There's not a whole lot of buildup. We research a little bit to put these lists together, but like the plan, the designing and the prototyping and the play testing to do board game design, no. I can come up with like a cool idea on the fly and then I'll never revisit it. So to your art, there's no way I have the patience to lean over a table for hours on end. I would need a bacchiotomy within like the first 15 minutes. I guarantee you that. I
mean, I have to take breaks because it does get long. Like, being over that table and it's like the things that people don't know. So when I'm doing the pieces, like if I do it for too long without taking breaks, like it starts to hurt the back of the knees because you're hyperextending your like at the back of your legs because you're like bent over. So yeah, it's like the little things that people don't know.
Here's the other one that people don't know. How big did these actually get? Didn't you say they started kind of small and they've gotten huge because of the attention?
Yeah. I mean, they were okay. So if I think back at like some of the first birds I made for that set of coaster for the wingspan ones, like they were probably like this big, but now it's like I have a table that's I think it's 32 inches by 32 inches. Or 30 by 30, I don't know. And there are times where, like, when I made my Darth Vader, his saber, I ran out of space.
Wow.
Yeah, like there are times where, so that's like probably 30 inches. That one was huge too.
And like, okay, the line at the bottom of his mouth, the line is like perfect. It's the exact same size gap the whole way through. That attention to detail, just tons of kudos to you.
Thanks. to answer David's question there on the background. So my background of choice is always going to be black. For several reasons. I find it pops so nicely on black. The other thing too is that it's way easier to clean up the background in Photoshop when I do a black background than when I do it in white. Because the white, there will be shadow. No matter how many lights I use, there's going to be shadows to erase afterwards because I need to clean it up. Otherwise, it's not going to look good. But yes, so that's how I picked my background. And then I started exploring with the blues. The first time I used a color background, I think was I did a logo for Pentry Games, the ones who did On the Rocks. So fitting. I mean, I don't have a rock in mind, but you do. But yes, when I did their logo, it was an orange background. That was the first time. And then after that, I had one that I made with the blue. And then when I did a few logos last year, I ended up buying a dark blue cloth to do some on that background. And then, I do the lighter blue once in a while. That was a custom one somebody commissioned. And actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the artist of that board game passed away. Oh, I think it was meant as a tribute. I didn't know until I posted it, and the guy said, "Oh, he would have loved it," and it was just like, oh. So,
I agree with you
pressure
on the use of black, like especially this one where you have like really good use of negative space.
I was just going to say the negative space
pops really well.
So this one, the strings thingies, because they were so this one is heavily based on one of the cards, I think, because the game was so sort of unknown. So I wanted to make sure people recognized it. So I worked with the person who wanted it done and then said like, hey, what do you think if I did that? And they said, oh yeah, absolutely. So when I did those like vine thingies, I actually had sheets of paper cutouts in place and then started to assemble my orange like around it and then just remove the paper so that it gave that like, because otherwise it's going to take forever to come up with a nice line. So if you have like a template, it's a lot easier. Nice. But the body, I didn't have a template. It was just like those lines, but still.
David's got a question, then I've got one right after that. So the material, is it, it's a cloth?
It's a cloth. It's, it's just like a kind of like a tablecloth, I guess. But when I do it on white, it's cardboard. It's like a big sheet of white cardboard.
Like poster board kind of thing. Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to a couple things here. So did I sneak a movie reference past Tim?
When you said Bacchiotomy, come on, that's a given.
All right. And then this guy just always brings the fire in the comments. So I'm just naturally going to highlight something like this. I need to work on where this is totally covering her up. Not fair.
Katia, is there one that you have tried and you're just like, I can't do it? Like you can't get it to work, or you can't get the pieces or the colors to just look the way you want, and you just go, I'll try again later, and you just haven't done it?
I mean, okay, so a long time ago, I tried to do the Grand Gamers Guild logo.
Okay.
But that was before I had all of the pieces I have now, and I just didn't have enough to work with. I was like, it's just not good. So
when you go to a friend's house to play games, do they check your pockets for game pieces when you leave, just to make sure you're not like getting components for like the next thing?
No,
I'm just messing.
Now you're making me want to. Yeah, because so funny thing, like recently I played Santa Monica with a friend of mine, and I was playing the game, and I'm like, I need those. I want those because they're a nice color. And then I started looking for used copies, and nobody's selling their copy because the game is good. But I want those little guys. Like, I'm lucky that in a way if there are cool games out there, like I'm at the point now I can reach out to the publishers, and most of them have seen my work, and most of them will be like, yeah, of course we'll send you components. So like the guy who made Dan Halligan, who made Obsession, just sent me like a ton of components from the game to use, and like that's just so helpful. People don't understand like to what point it's helpful. it makes it so I don't have to dig into my own boxes as much because that's so time consuming. The cleanup of doing that is so time consuming. So if I can have the spare parts, so much better.
I think, and I might be stealing your thunder for this answer, but there's one photo I remember where you showed your storage solutions, and they are stored by color. And I wanted to point that out because I am one of those people that watching like the result of this, there's that tinge of anxiety. We're like, oh my God, putting all that crap away. But you don't have to put them back in their original boxes. You have games that you use just for your art.
So now, yes. When I started, no. So when I started, it was all my own board game piece. And so I got to know my game collection so well, and I know what's in each box like really well. So when I'm done, I can put stuff back. But what's getting hard now is because I have more games than when I started. Sometimes I'll be making a piece and then I'm looking for something specific. It's like, okay, I need a piece like this. That would work really well. And then I forget that some of the games might have those colors or, you know. So like the other day, I forget what I opened and I was like, oh, that would have worked so well for this other one I did. Like, it's just that kind of, like now I just have too many games to remember everything. It's okay.
Now you just know, oh, this box has some really good choices of orange in it.
I used to have a spreadsheet. So I had made like an Excel spreadsheet when I first started with like, for example, Lords of Waterdeep. It's got gray, yellow, green, blue, whatever. Like I had it listed by color. And
I told you, it's the inspiration.
And then I was like, the hell with it.
I love it.
Okay, so a couple things. We should talk about our topic real quick.
Yeah, but before we do that, real quick, Dennis Perlstein, who just said hi in the comments, his Kickstarter is still going. Worn Wanderers.
Yes, it is.
It's funded. It's still going. Do not leave this video to check out Kickstarter. Look it up on a different device.
Correct.
So that way we
even on your phone, YouTube goes in that little mini widget.
Oh yeah, it does. I do that all the time.
Stick it up there.
Do that all the time. So go and check that out. And then what were you gonna say? I guess I got one.
Topic, whiskey. Then we're going to talk about the Katia challenge before we go to the topic.
Okay, so I'm going to say things that are not related to those two things first.
Okay.
First of all, everybody watching, do us a favor. The best way you can support this show is to just click the thumbs up or thumbs down if, you know, Mike's too loud or I'm buffering too much, because we know it's not because of Katia. It's definitely because of Micra. But hit that button because that algorithm is awesome for us. And then second, actually, I'll say it after we talk about our whiskey. I'll save the second one for after we talk about our whiskey because it'll be worth it.
All right, fair.
Apropos.
So without further ado, it's Wednesday. What are you drinking?
Who, me? Katia? Do Katia.
I'm asking our guest first, Tim.
Yeah,
ladies first.
Okay,
good Lord.
So normally I would have grabbed Jack Honey because I love the Jack Honey, but I couldn't find it at my liquor store. So I'm not sure if they stopped carrying it or if it was in its own separate display, but I had groceries in the car. I didn't want to like leave it too long. So I grabbed something else. So Mike was right when he said it's a Canadian whiskey and it's Crown Royal. However, this is no ordinary Crown Royal.
It's apple. It's apple.
I don't think it's flavored. It might be the.
No. So it is flavored, but this is a flavor that I first had it last year. When I first had it and the person had the bottle there, I'm like, that is ridiculous. It's probably disgusting. I had a sip of it and I was like, oh. Oh, yeah.
Oh, the peach.
Oh, my God. This one took me by surprise. I did not think that was going to be any good. And then I had several glasses. And so when I saw that they didn't have the Jack Honey, I was like, that's what I'm getting. Because
you got a backup.
Reed I haven't had in a year. And it's so yummy.
Yeah, don't let Katia's accent fool you. She is actually up from the Great White Northie. So so that's why she's got the Canadian whiskey.
Well, there go all our viewers.
There we go. That's fine.
No, I did not get the bag. I wanted the peach bag, David.
Oh, they didn't have the peach bag?
I didn't think it was
No.
possible to get Crown without a bag.
Well, now it looks like they don't give you a bag because all the ones that were on the shelf didn't have a bag with them. So I don't know if they only put that out around Christmas.
It's probably because a gamer works at that liquor store and
Or
he's stealing the bags out.
Maybe it's just that particular store. I mean, it's been
but if somebody has like a spare of the peach bag, oh, I would totally want that.
There you go.
Wow. I feel like every time I bought Crown, I've always gotten the bag, but it's been several months. So,
Yeah.
Tim, what are you drinking?
Okay, I'm still working on my Louisville, Kentucky, Jeffers Creek, whatever, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It's my hometown away from my hometown. All my family's from Louisville, Kentucky. And then after that, it's like Ireland and Germany. So yeah, straight bourbon, still working on it. Hasn't knocked me out yet. So
Okay, so it's bourbon whiskey you're drinking?
correct.
Okay, yeah. So can we all agree that like straight whiskey is normally disgusting?
Yeah, I like Jameson Irish whiskey. I like a good Irish
Jameson's
whiskey.
good.
To me it's like if it's like I'll do scotch or rum or bourbon on its own, but like whiskey, like if you're thinking like rye whiskey,
Oh,
like that's the worst.
oh.
I
I can't do a rye. I really can't.
all the flavors.
Ale. That's the only way it's drinkable.
So here's my thing is I'm not a gin guy. I'm not a vodka guy. I'm not a rum person. I love all kinds of whiskey. So even the cheapest bottle off the shelf, I can drink. I don't want to, but I can, and I have during my younger days. But even before I really started like diving into trying more flavors of whiskey and bourbon, my favorite was always Maker's Mark. That's
Maker's
always
is good.
been my favorite. And so I've stepped it up with an elevated Maker's Mark, and it's called French Oaked.
Ooh.
Oh, don't you pander to our guest.
No,
I know he totally went with the French oak because he was having a French guest.
Mm-hmm.
and I even did this bourbon pairing dinner at a casino this weekend, and even got like a wax dipped whiskey glass. Like
What?
that's pretty darn cool, right?
That is cool. I
don't know how-
that.
I'm like waiting on it to fall off when I go to clean it. But this stuff is incredible. It actually gives you hints of vanilla when you drink it. So huge fan of this stuff.
And do you both drink it with with the ice in it?
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
a big old ice cube. I drop in mine.
I don't like.
I like it cold. I like to drink everything cold though. So that's my main reason.
That's my thing. I like my beer ice cold. I like my alcoholic beverages ice cold. Even in the winter, I don't drink coffee, so just give me a Coke. I'm good.
Yeah, I actually
Well, until today, I guess.
I tried my first old fashioned like a week ago, and now I can't get enough of them.
Oh, they're so good.
At first I was like, this is a little weird. But then like the cherry really complements like the finish of bourbon. It just matches it really well. I'm a big fan now. I had one after lunch today at work, and I was bragging about it.
Yeah, to me, it's the orange that does it. And
Yeah.
Then when you get like the right bourbon, it's bourbon that's in there. Yes.
Mhm.
You can make them with whiskey too, but yeah, bourbon is the
Mhm.
preference for sure. Yeah.
But when you get the right one, and then you can get a good smoked one, like they do at Queen and Rook Cafe in Philly, at PAX Unplugged. It's the best. It's the best.
As a bartender, a former bartender, I always hated it when somebody ordered an old fashioned because it's like, no, I've got to work. Like
Oh,
usually, you just
Spritz,
pour,
sure.
done. Here you go. Right.
Yeah.
I'm also a gin and tonic person.
I do like gin and
I
tonics.
like vodka martinis. Also, I drink just about anything, really.
My
Dry stuff, not for me.
my vodka martini has to be like so dry, like so dry. It's like Winston Churchill had this saying where he liked his vodka martinis where you stare at the vermouth as you pour the vodka into the glass, and that's as close as the vermouth ever gets.
Oh, interesting. I like the taste of a vermouth, but I need
So-
to have like 3 olives in it.
Oh, see, I don't like olives, so I'll do the vermouth over the ice in the martini, right? And then you pour that all out, and then use that ice to shake your vodka
Agreed,
in,
Bob.
Yeah.
and then you pour the vodka into the glass that way, and it's good.
I need to try it with a rye, Wayne. That's what I've been told. I think I'm out of rye, so I need to get another one. Okay, so we're all lushes. Moving on.
Okay, so before we go into our topic, and we all have now our beverages, let's all just raise a toast to Klaus Tuber, who passed away.
Hey,
Designer of Catan, right? Whether you like Catan or not, there is no denying that man's influence on the industry and the hobby. So I like Catan.
absolutely.
So,
I do too.
but
Funny
yeah,
enough, is I think I've only played Catan once in person. However, I played the crap out of it on the PlayStation because they used to have it so that you can play remotely with people. That was years ago. And I played so much of it. I played sometimes just with the AI, the computer. I didn't care. I loved it.
Nice.
And I think I like played it too much or started to get to other games that when people suggested playing it in person, I was like, I'll play this other thing instead. So I think I only ever got one game in
when you've played it 100 times, right? I mean, I don't care what game it is. You played it 100 times and you're somewhere and it's like, oh, there's a game I haven't played before, or maybe I've only played once. Well, yeah, I'm going to opt to play that game. So, but
okay, though. So we got to go into the Katia challenge real quick because
let's do it.
This is the whole reason that you and I started talking.
Yes.
So
now, did we start talking because of that, or did we already talk on Board Game Revolution before that?
There might have been, and see, that's where Tim and I's like history is fuzzy. I'm like, did I reply to a few to his comments on one of those big groups before we started messaging? Right. I don't think I messaged you until the challenge. I think
like private message. Yeah, that would have been Would have been after. Yes,
I might have talked to you in the comments and stuff like that. But so tell us about where this came from. And then be prepared to laugh at the and it's probably because Tim is my friend, but his picture is the first one on I'm going down the hashtag here. So we're going to see all of them.
That's amazing. Okay. So how it started was at the time I was a mod or admin, timeline is blurry again, for Board Game Revolution. And it was one of those where like every so often you try and find something fun to post about just to make new content and, keeping it fresh, which is kind of how my artwork began, but that's a different thing. So the Katia challenge, the one day I was cleaning up my game room after making a mess. And I just thought, okay, how many of my favorite games can I stack up to my height? And I'm only 5 feet tall, so yes, it wasn't that many games. I think
my gosh, I was way off.
I think it's only like 20, a little bit. It was only like 20 something games. But yeah, basically just started pulling my favorite games and stacked them up. And then I set up my phone and took a picture. But I did the post in like twofold. The first post was just me asking, I wonder how many games I can stack up to my height. And then the second post was, here's the answer. And then I had the picture there. And it was probably one of the pictures that I got like the most likes on that group. Like people loved the idea. And it was partly when I decided to do that was because, so at the time, if I remember correctly, it was COVID. And you're online and you never see anybody's faces. People are posting, pictures of the boards. You're never really seeing the people play together. So it was kind of like hey, let's see the gamers out there. So that was sort of like why I decided to do it, but I didn't think a lot of people were going to do it too. But then Mike.
So here's where I chime in. I saw this picture of her standing next to her games and her reasoning for doing it. I'm like, this is a really good idea. Like, you're not only going to see people's favorite games, you're going to see them. You know, you're going to physically see like people's whole appearance in this big stack of games. What a cool idea. So I messaged you and I was like, I think this is an awesome idea. I honestly think this could catch on. So I'm going to do the same thing and I'm going to hashtag it. Are you cool with that? And of course she's like, yeah, go for it.
She was like instant block.
Yes, I had to, yeah. I had to get unbanned from the Revolution group. But this is what this turned into. So obviously my friends are going to be first. This was about 2 years ago then. So this was early February of 2021. Short dude for scale.
Yeah, that's me.
In his basement.
It was 1 year basically into COVID, right?
Yeah,
it was. 2020, right? March 2020.
Hey, it's
here's our buddy Ron Holiday.
Yeah, I love Ron. He's awesome.
He's in Brazil. So this thing went global. How many countries?
Go on Instagram. There are posts of people doing it, and the posts are not in English because people are in other countries doing it. It was crazy. Yeah. They're like, and what's funny is in the pictures, depending on the original angle, people started arguing, wait, I think you should remove one more game.
Oh yeah, people are getting nitpicky.
I gotta find that post because you said my stack was taller than me, and you drew a line in. I'll find that one.
Somebody lay down.
The thing too is people. So the people that have less games, it's like then like be creative. It doesn't have to be like people were doing it with their pets. People were doing it from the table. Like it just
by color.
Yeah.
This one here.
Publishers did it with like stacks of boxes of all the same game. Who cares? It was
the designer of Flux did it with every version of Flux. David Turksey did it with every game he's designed. I will find these hopefully, but there's hundreds of them. Like it got huge.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, a lot of them.
I mean, there's like hundreds of posts.
That's cheating. He's holding games.
It was.
Oh, definitely cheating. Oh, no, they're Feld games. I'll allow it.
Oh, damn.
Wait, no, it's got Las Vegas in there. That one can go. And Queensdale. But.
Yeah, it was definitely, it was super cool to see how much it spread. And like, that was the thing. And so I had seen people post it on Facebook, and then somebody pointed out, hey, like there's the hashtag on Instagram and go look at it. And I couldn't believe the amount of posts that were there.
Yes, Bob. I'll show you the post where she calls me out on it. If it doesn't take too, oh, here we go. And then you got people making memes out of it. What? I mean, when people are memeing you, you're something.
I never saw that one. That's amazing.
Hey, you liked it even, so.
I don't remember this. Oh my God.
But so many people did this because it was an awesome idea. And we need to do it again.
Yeah, we need to do a different one.
Yeah, we've been talking about trying to do something different, but I don't know if there's been a consensus on what should be different about it.
I think you have to buy enough of Katia's calendars that you can stack them up to your height.
I'm only at one. So
men versus people. I know I'm only going to stack up many calendars because it's going to be my fourth one.
I really want to find Turksey and the Flux designer. That's what I'm shooting for.
Gamelin. Okay, so for those who don't know, I would not be doing calendars if it wasn't for that guy right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was the person who helped me start with the calendars, finding like a manufacturer, like distributor.
Wow.
Like Nathan was so helpful, and he was the one who basically reached out to have me do the Gamelin logo when it was like way early. And then people other publishers were like, "Hey, could you do our logo?" And then he said like, "You should do a calendar of this stuff."
So
and
cool.
so yeah, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, and so yeah, he helped me.
And then like this shot, like I mean, all these Western games out in the West, people started theming this. Oh, here it is.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! I got killed.
See, Bob, Biblios was too tall. I thought my stack was next to godliness, and it was not.
Oh, that's funny. And I'm
Look at
pretty
that.
sure that's Tim.
Oh, it's definitely me. Yeah, that's me.
That's Tim.
Tim cheated too. I didn't even need to cheat. I have you guys by a foot.
You can't tell how pointy my head is, you know. So when when I stand there and I go like this, it's like it's good enough. I go from the peak, the highest peak.
There were just so many of them. It was such a cool thing. Eventually I'll find the Turksy and the Flux one, and I'll get it up on the screen.
Well, and the Flux one, so if I'm not mistaken, it's Looney, right? Looney Games?
Yeah, it sounds right.
Looney Labs?
Looney Labs.
Yeah, they reached out. I think it was last year I did their logo because they wanted their logo done.
I'll keep scrolling.
So yeah, they definitely were familiar with my work, but it's it's just it's crazy to me. But I've talked about this before. So if you are unfamiliar with the concept of the first follower, look up on YouTube the first follower video, and it explains how important that first follower is. And that was Mike's job. That's what Mike did.
Mike was the hype man. Mike's a good hype man.
Was the first follower because in that video, it's like a 2-3 minute video on YouTube. They show you that like it starts with like there's a concert, there's like everybody's sitting down on the grass listening to the music, and then this one crazy person goes and starts to dance like a maniac. And he looks crazy until there's the first follower that shows, hey, we're the same, you and I. And then after like a minute, more people join in, and it becomes this big party. So because of that, and if it wasn't for the first follower, that first person who was dancing would still just be like a crazy person. So I was a crazy person.
It's like that moment of validation, right? Here we go, another meme.
This is funny because I also did a mosaic of Bourbon in his chair.
Nice. That's so funny.
Oh my gosh.
That's so funny.
Hi, West. Man, he's on now because I told him he can come on the show. Now he's gonna watch it.
Oh, now he's gonna watch. Well, he's got to know what he's in for. He can't.
No,
just come in blind.
he's busy on Wednesdays usually. I'm giving him a hard time. And thank you, Dennis. I got to play his game in studio. We shot that video together, and now he is very well on his way to printing tons of copies of his game. So super happy about that.
That's very exciting.
I really want to find at least the Turksy one.
Okay. Well, while you're looking, I'm going to ask Katia my dumb questions.
Yeah, and I'll take that off so people don't get motion sickness from constant scrolling.
And then when we get into the actual, we won't be wasting it. Oh, she left. Did you kick her out, Mike?
No.
Mike, how dare you? How dare you?
No.
How dare you kick her out? You kicked her out.
Oh, no.
I can't ask my dumb questions now.
We lost her. We'll get her back. She's got that invite. Shoot, I wonder if I need to send it to her again because it might have been buried by our long conversation after I sent her that link.
No doubt.
So let me find her real quick, guys, just in case.
Hold on. You need to check out Jason's comment. Because that's what's up. There she is. There she is.
Oh,
she's back.
Yeah, I don't buffer.
Okay.
I just leave and then I make an entrance back.
I like it. I like it.
My apologies for that. Yeah, my internet today was actually acting up. At some point, I was on a Discord call and I had to get off the Wi-Fi. We had a storm come through, so I don't know. They might still be fixing things, but hopefully, this is the only time that will happen.
Yeah, I buffer all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna keep scrolling, and I swear to you, I'm just gonna plop it on the screen when I find it. But I think it's probably time to.
This is what happens. Mike kicks you. Okay, Mike, I'm gonna ask my dumb questions now. Okay.
Oh, good. I'll get that banner ready.
Katia,
Yeah.
What is your favorite band and why is it Guns N' Roses? I only say that because that's my favorite band.
Not even close to Guns N' Roses. Not even close. My favorite band is the Fratellis.
Okay. Nice.
It's a Scottish band, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're from Scotland.
That would make them
You
Scottish.
would recognize some of their main songs because they've been in movies.
Mm-hmm. I
The
think
songs
that's
are-
yeah. I think that's where I've heard of them is from soundtracks.
They're so
Okay.
good live too. They're amazing. They're a super fun band.
I don't think I'm familiar with that group.
Look,
Well, you're about to be, sir,
yeah, look
because I know you. You're gonna look it up.
Oh yeah, I was looking for a
Yeah.
pen to write it down.
Yeah, I'm writing it. I'm writing it down too.
yeah,
No.
their Costello album, I think it's called Costello Music or something like that, or it's the best one of them all. And then like they have a few other ones afterwards that they have some really good songs on there. I think their last one, they're starting to change sound a bit, but they still have a few that are like still really catchy. And yeah, it's a band that comes on my Spotify and I will never skip.
What is your favorite style of music?
I'm like an eclectic kind of.
You like everything? Is there something you don't like? Is there something that comes on? You're like, click.
I'm not huge into Motown,
Okay.
like disco. It's not
Sure.
really my thing. There's a few songs that are okay, you know, that I'll enjoy. I'm also not. I'm not big into hip hop.
Oh, that's all right.
There are some songs
I like it. I like that you
like
say it. You're waiting to get killed. You know, like
a little bit.
Safe space. Safe space.
Yeah.
No, I don't like modern country music at all. Like I hate.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I like.
that.
I like
it.
old country music. I like old country
I've
music.
always
I like
said
quite a bit.
There's only a couple things I have like. I'm pretty open-minded, except for just a couple things. And one of those is country music. I feel like it's a shtick. It is a gimmick. I do not think your tractor is sexy, and honky tonk and badonkadonk do not belong in the same sentence. Pop country is the worst thing ever created. So there's my rant. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Use their own.
But
yeah,
I'm all over the place on music. Tim knows that though. So.
Like
yeah.
I grew up listening to a lot of like the 90s alternative stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like that is
For sure.
It holds a special place.
Hey, there we go. I didn't even realize this was maybe before I was really following who he was because I didn't have Dwellings yet. But Luke Laurie did it.
Oh, there you go.
Look at that. Yeah, he doesn't have Dwellings there. Oh, he does at the very bottom. So this was probably maybe right after it came out, early 21.
I had Dwellings in my pilot days. Yeah, so it was out.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go, David, with the Easter eggs there. Shelf Clutter ends his videos with Katia's art.
Shelf Clutter, I know, and it's funny because I need to like give him some new ones. So he's a friend of mine. He's local. I believe he's in Woodstock now. He used to be in Kitchener, but yeah, he's local to me, and so he at some point had reached out and said, "Hey, do you want to, give me your mosaics, and I could just put them at the end of the video. It's more exposure." And eventually, I kind of ran out. So because he does his videos weekly, and I can't pump out one a week.
Oh, sure, sure.
Not all year round, anyway. So
you got 12 a year, and that's all you can do.
Yeah, well, that's
just kidding.
Pieces, but yeah, I should now I have a few. I could probably slip them his way and give him some new material. But yeah, it's a great channel for those that don't know Shelf Clutter. He does a great weekly Kickstarter, like what's on crowdfunding, and it goes through them. So if you want to know what's coming up, then yeah, that's amazing. I love that.
This looks so cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I am just going to kind of keep scrolling. When I find some cool ones, I'll pop them on the screen. But we really should get into our topic.
Fine, I'll save my last question for later. Yes.
Now that we're 50 minutes in, why don't you tell the folks at home what the topic is?
Listen, technically, we've been talking about board games almost this whole time. Board game components, right?
Yes.
But yeah, no, we are here because we wanted to do top 5 IPs, intellectual properties, not independent properties, Mike. Top 5 IPs that we want to play like a game from, right? And not only that, but we've come up with sort of a vague idea, or in Mike's case, a complete and fully fleshed out rule set, which he will go into with great detail. But no, we've got these games that we kind of have an idea of like how we want them played and what we want them to be. Don't worry, Mike, we won't let you go into all of those details because that would just take too long.
This will be a 4-hour episode.
Exactly.
Okay. So,
I said, is there anything wrong with that?
No, not at all.
As long as it's entertaining and people are watching, that's on them.
Unless your guest is like, what the fuck did I get into?
Okay, so Tim, we'll start with you. We'll go clockwise.
Oh.
And I guess that means I should get something queued up.
Yeah, sure. Whenever you're ready.
But here we go. We're going to start with Tim's number 5.
So I really, if we weren't this late into the video, I really was going to do like a fake one for every one, but have it be a game that's already made. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to spare everybody my
just say run with it.
Terrible jokes.
I already warned you guys that I have 13 games from one of these IPs because there is so much content in this IP that is completely untouched. And it's my all-time favorite show. I just ran with it. Yeah, I'm getting some weird noise. There we go. That's just Tim's mouth. All right. So, Tim, real quick, give us your breakdown. What types of IPs are these?
Okay. I've got music. I've got a movie, a book series, a TV show, and a role-playing game that is technically not a
good with that.
Converted. Dan, I think one, because I did go back and watch our old video years ago. Dan and I had a local game designer on. Don't look up the video because the quality's terrible. But we had a local game designer on, and Dan and I thought it would be fun to like pitch him our BS board game ideas. And he kind of was kind enough to be like, yeah, that sounds like something I'd play or not. He humored us. So now he doesn't make eye contact with me in public when I see him, but it's okay.
I don't either. This is before I knew this guy. John DeCampos is designer of Black Mold. We got to preview that with West from Quackalo. And that was a ton of fun. I've never played anything like his game. So cool to see he did this. This was before I knew who he was. So
that's fun.
Yeah, exactly, Jonathan. My joke was going to be like, do like a Marvel, but maybe we throw in some zombies and make it interesting, you know? But no, that's not what I'm doing here.
What you got?
I'm going to go with my laziest one first, okay? Because all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a game that I really like, and I'm going to put a different theme on it.
I've got plenty of that.
That I think will completely work. Okay. So Comic Hunters, which is not readily available in the US, but I know that Katia has a copy because she's got an awesome fan. And I've got a copy because my sister got me one for Christmas. But Comic Hunters is an amazing set collection game. If you're a comic book nerd like me, it will grab you and that will be enough. I do think that the gameplay is enough to keep you there because of the different ways of the set collecting. And
drafting the game.
Yeah. But how cool would it be to do that with iconic album covers? So like just take the best looking album covers from history, right? Like in the last
Dark Side of the Moon.
Dude, right? Led Zeppelin, the Brown Bomber, right? You know what I mean? It's pick the Nirvana Nevermind, right? GNR, Appetite for Destruction. You're just gonna have. Sorry, Katia. I know that's your favorite band, and so I'm pandering to you when I say that one. The Darkness, Permission to Land. There's so many like really badass album covers, and people would get so excited because they'd be like, "Oh, I have this one," right? You know, or whatever. And I'd just call it Vinyl Collector. That's the name of my game. But nice. you could because that is like a legit hobby for people, right? My dad has this huge, insanely, huge record collection. So I was kind of inspired by that as well.
Really cool.
But,
I love that idea.
as a kid, I just remember going through and looking at the album covers and just like, what, Sticky Fingers from Rolling Stones, I mean, there's just so many great ones. But anyways, so that's my number 5. It's my laziest one because it's like, I just steal the game, like the actual bones of a different game and slap it right on. You play it exactly the same way. And that's it. Who's that?
Yeah, it's Looney Labs.
Oh, okay.
There's
that's
all the
fluxes.
Yep.
That's fun. So then I guess I'm going to start with my lazy one.
Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my first one would be so you know how they have all those like crime or like detective games. Okay, so I would do an Ace Ventura Pet Detective game.
Yes, I love it.
These crazy mysteries to solve, and then at the end you get I don't know, you open an envelope and then you find what pet you like. You get the actual picture of what it looks like. I don't know, something fun that you don't really know what you're gonna go rescue. And part of it is like, so I'm thinking back at like the Bat in the second movie.
Look who
so much.
Her.
I've seen those movies more times.
Oh my gosh.
The second one, so this is the funny thing. So I watch them in French more than in English. And so there are things that happen in the French movie, like in the French dubbed version, that they don't do in the English one.
What?
Like what?
Like eat baguettes or what?
No. Okay. So, for example, when he's about to like go into the cave, like after like the son of the tribe, like the chief tells him, no, like go in, here's my torch. And he turns around and he just mouths like he doesn't actually say anything in English. Well, in French, they made him say something like he says something like, Uda, you little son of a, like he just, and nice. So like in English, you watch it, that's gone, like that's not there. So, but anyways, it was really funny to watch in French.
Oh, this is because Jim Carrey's Canadian, isn't it? That's what it is.
I know, but it's
no. I'm just.
It was so funny. Anyways,
no, I could go through that IP. I could go through the first Ace Ventura movie.
Oh my gosh,
for word, like Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. Like I just so.
Like love.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Like I would know the word for word of Ace Ventura, the second one, in French. Like that is just Dumb and Dumber. I'm not proud, but
be proud.
Oh my
God. More times than any other movie, and then
you have no idea how much I love Dumb and Dumber. You have no idea.
It's so ridiculous, and it's
it's
amazing.
Listen, Dumb and Dumber, like the Farrelly brothers, we talked about this was hinted at in the chat earlier that we were having, right? Because it's the same director, like same directors as Something About Mary and Kingpin. Oh my gosh. And and Kingpin, and like they had a stretch of movies for a minute in the 90s that like I could never not watch. Like I always was watching one of those movies and quoting it at inappropriate times. It did not matter. Like I still love, like in Dumb and Dumber, when he's like, the gas men are here. And he's like, how did we know I had gas? Like, oh my God. And then our pets' heads are falling off. They thought Petey's head fell off. They duct tape that bird's head to the body, and they sell it to the blind kid.
Yeah.
Like, oh
yeah. Unless you want to work 40 hours a week.
Yeah. Okay, so the funny thing is, so my sister and I, this is something like her and I started doing a few years ago. But every so often we'll send each other pictures that look like this. Like when he's got the X-Lax and then he's getting to drink.
Yes.
Send each other selfies of going like that. The person like like drink them. Oh my god!
How's your burger?
Yeah.
Dude,
One of my favorite gifs is when he's eating. One of my favorite gifs, I love gifting people his reactions to stuff, is when Jim Carrey is eating his burger and he does that smirk while he's waiting for him to eat the hot sauce. He does this. I don't know. I can't do it. It's just hysterical.
dude.
I love his reaction.
We also with like all the time we're like, and then you go and totally redeem yourself.
All the time.
Samsonite. Oh, I was way off.
Way off.
So many lines. So many lines.
Yeah,
So
for
many.
me, the gift that I use from that movie over and over is the one where he sees the girl and not Lloyd, but the other one,
Harry.
Pardon?
Harry.
Harry, thank you. When he sees them get out of the car after the skiing, and then he like throws.
Look
up.
at the
Oh my god, that gif of the gag. That's the one I used over and over again.
Look
Give
at
me
the
that-
butt on that.
Give me that booze, you pumpkin pie haircutted freak.
I love that movie
Oh
so
my
much.
gosh. Pull over! No, it's a cardigan, but thanks for
Thanks for
noticing.
Sucking back on some Grandpa's old soda pop there. Yeah, I just Harlan Williams as the everything about that movie I absolutely love, start to finish.
Tic tac, sir.
All the time. It drives my wife nuts, but I'll be like, "Goodbye, my love," and then like, and she's just like, "You're an idiot," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's true."
Oh man.
Yeah,
Jim
Yeah,
Carrey
so-
movies. Great. Any Jim Carrey movie, I think we probably would have went down this path, but I definitely, that one didn't come to mind at all, and I love those movies. Okay. My number 5 is a little more serious. No comedy here, but everybody has played with these toys as a kid. If they weren't your favorite toys at one point, I don't know what your problem was. Legos.
Oh, yeah.
Legos. How many cool things could they make out of Legos that become board games?
Mike,
They've
the plural for Lego is
them.
Lego. The plural
Lego,
for Lego
fine,
is Lego.
whatever. Yeah. So they have some games that have been published, but they all kind of, the most recent one was 2013. They were all kid oriented and none of them really looked appealing at all. Like they need a legit designer to get some Legos and make like a 3D building game, like a 3D city building game or something. Like that would be so cool. And the fact is that Lego has access to tons of IPs by themselves. They could do so much in the board game
I want to
industry.
play Lego The Quest for More Craggle. Like give me that. The
Did
you know,
you
they
see
could
the
just
Quest
do
for More Craggle?
yeah, the crazy glue from the Lego movie.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
the Craggle. I'm a nerd, Katia. I'm such a nerd, and I can quote movies like nonstop. I
only
apologize.
seen the Lego movie once, so that's why I was like, wait, Craggle? But yeah.
Oh, there was even some, I don't know what this theme was based off of. They even tried to do a collectible card game in 2016. Like I never even heard
Lego
of it.
one?
I couldn't even remember. Some IP they had access to. It's not just a Lego collectible card game. It's like a Lego version of whatever that IP was. I hadn't even heard of the IP. I don't know. But they tried. I could try to find it on BGG, but I was like, I've never heard of this. They need to make a good game is the focus here.
Damn. All right.
So,
Settle down.
That's a good one.
I like it.
you could just the component just they are a component in themselves, and you could build 3D images. Just man, there's a lot you could do.
Hey, Mike, do you see what's behind my head right there? Do you see what that is?
Kinda.
Hold on.
Is it the Thanos glove in like this hand shape? Nice.
Nice,
Made out of Lego. Hello.
sweet.
I love that it's got the yeah.
I'm still using my small screen, so it's hard to see stuff.
So metal.
You guys are asking. Dennis might be right. I'll look it up, dude. Because that was just something I had never heard of, but I'll find it. So where was it? Yeah, it was Ninjago. Okay, I'm familiar with Ninjago. That was Ninjago, the trading card game, master of Spinjitzu.
Ooh.
Spinjitzu?
I mean, but like there's barely anything on this page about it. So in fact, there's even one of the threads is available in the US question mark. So it obviously didn't last very long. Make a good game, Lego.
It was huge. Yeah, huge.
Yeah. Huge failure. All right, Tim, let's hear your number 4.
Okay, so my number 4 is a series of books. I haven't even read the whole series, but I've read like 6 of the books in the series, and then I had to take a break because they get a little meandering. Wheel of Time. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Wheel of Time. There was a very, for me, disappointing Amazon show that was Wheel of Time, blah, blah, blah. I did not like the show. I'm not even one of these people that's like a book purist or whatever. Like, I just want like more of the things I like, right? Like, you know, I like Star Wars. Give me more Star Wars. You know, it doesn't all have to like blow me away, but I love it. Yeah, there they are. They're the books. Robert Jordan was like kind of done with them, and then he died, and then Brandon Sanderson took him over and finished the series. The other IP, like book IP that I thought about going for that was like at least other people have heard of is was Dragonlance. But there's so many like Dungeons and Dragons games out there that Dragonlance felt like a cheat. So I'm going to go with Wheel of Time, because here's the thing with Wheel of Time. Here's the interesting thing is there's a hero born like every cycle, because time is a wheel in the Wheel of Time. So every cycle,
born every minute.
It's true. There's a hero born every cycle. They call him the dragon. And then different factions are trying to manipulate the dragon, whether they're going to suppress him so that he can't, you know, accomplish his full potential, or just, it's almost like a Bene Gesserit thing in Dune, where they want to control the chosen one, basically, like, so that you're kind of the power behind the power, right? So anyways, in the Wheel of Time, in the books, especially early on, the dragon is the character who turns out to be the dragon, I don't want to spoil anything, because it's not really a surprise, but it's kind of a surprise, I guess. Anyways, the character who turns out to be the dragon doesn't want to be controlled by all these other people. He wants to do his own thing, and he wants to do it because he's doing it, but he's super paranoid about being controlled by everybody. So in my version of this game, you are one of the factions trying to control the dragon, but you have to be clever about it. And so you're trying to move up in like the influence track to make this happen. And, but if you go too strong, he's going to rebuff you, right? And you're going to go back down. And so you've got to find this really fun balance, and it sort of should be like a tug of war, so that at the very end, even like somebody who's still like way in the back might be able to do something where they, you know, it pushes everybody up too far, and then they drop down, and then they can go ahead, you know, and have the most support at the end of the game for the dragon. So actually nobody plays the dragon. The dragon is just a track, you know, or an AI character, if you will. And then everybody else is trying to manipulate behind the scenes and influence that player, that character, not a player. So that's my Wheel of Time. I'm nerding out because I read that book, you know, most of half of those books, not even most of them. I've read like half of them. There's so many. I had to take a break. So many.
If I draw too much clank, will the dragon notice?
Yeah, he'll notice, and then he'll kill you. It'd be awesome. Listen.
Just like every time I played Catacombs. Sweet.
I will play Clank at the drop of a hat.
I would love to play Clank Catacombs.
Oh, I love Katia, are you going to be at any conventions this year?
No, just PAX.
Just PAX. Oh, damn.
I know.
Wait, are you going to like QsCon?
Yes.
Is that okay? Coming? I'm going to try. I'm going to try really hard.
Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be tough.
Yeah, so, out. But Tim, that's awesome if you can make it.
So I will make sure.
Tim
like, here's the
deal. I will find a way to go.
Here's the deal. You can play Clank Catacombs with us. If we only play one game together, we'll play Clank Catacombs.
It's good, but it's harder.
We're gonna play more than one game if you show up.
I would hope so.
Yes.
I would hope so.
Right. We're all talking about games and we've never played games together.
But you are a celebrity, and Mike and I are Mike and I.
Peasants.
So, you know. Yeah. No. But anyways, no, I watched you play Mission Control.
Oh my gosh, that was the best time.
I cannot wait to play that game again.
That was the best time.
I've been bugging Corey and Donnie in your Discord like every 2 months. I feel like I'm a nuisance by now. I'm like, is it ready? Is it ready? I want to play it again. Is it ready?
And you know that they go to QSCon, just saying.
Mike, we need to have Corey and Donnie on.
Before then.
Also true.
Hey,
we need to have Corey and Donnie on though, because
we can gush about that game. It's so fun.
And we talked to them quite a bit at in that half hour before they called security and had us removed from the Third World Studios booth. But we talked to them quite a bit. They were super nice guys, just like.
And that was really, just because the glow off Tim's head was blinding everybody.
It was too much. It was inappropriate. People weren't appreciative. There were sunburns. People were getting sunburned. It was awkward.
Dan was filming. We appreciate his efforts.
Is that the title of Dan's sex tape as well? Just checking.
Some of us are Mission Control.
Also, Dan was filming. I appreciate his efforts. That's the title. Katia got it right away. Mike's late to the party, but now
there were like 5 sex tapes in my head there. So moving on.
Yeah, that's a Brooklyn Nine-Nine quote. Just in my defense. Okay. Great show if you haven't watched it. Super funny.
Oh, it's my number 2. So no.
Did I steal your IP for games? No. Yeah. Katia's number 2 now, or number 4. I mean, number 4, her second game.
Yeah, which one do I go with? Oh my gosh. Okay.
I appreciate that Katia is also a list purist. Had her list like in order, wasn't going to change anything. It's all locked in from the start.
But now I'm like
Dan.
Oh, okay, so my next one would be, and this is the one I said earlier. So Spin Master has a version of it. Very weird for kids, but How to Train Your Dragon. Hear me out. This is what.
No, I'm in. I'm in already. I'm in.
Right? I mean, who doesn't want Toothless? Oh, did you see that? My power's flickering.
Oh, cool.
We had some weird weather today.
No, because I don't want to like.
Well, I mean, I don't want you.
Right midst explanation of this fantastic game that I'm sure working on. Okay, so I'm envisioning a legacy solo game.
Oh, okay.
Okay. There's an arena. And then every time you play, there's like a dragon that you're trying to fight or tame. And then like once you get him, you go on an adventure. And then the next time you play, you battle another one. So now you have 2 to pick from, and then you go on adventures and like so stuff, something like that. Where it's like
I'm here for it.
Acquiring more and more dragons because you're taming them in the arena after they've like, captured them or whatever. And then you like go and do stuff out. And
yes. I am here for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I came late to those movies. But then when I started watching them, I'm like, I love all of these. I saw the third one in the theater. Like I took the kids, we saw it in the theater, and I was like, this is awesome. Like, why am I so late to this party?
I know. I also saw the third one in theater, and the other 2 I saw, like, I bought basically the Blu-ray, but
yeah,
they are to this date some of my favorite movies. Like the first and second one it's so gorgeous, first of all, to look at. Like the scenery, everything, so pretty. Toothless is the best dragon out there.
Agreed.
If you're a dog owner, you can totally relate to like Toothless and some of the stuff he does. It's totally dog behavior, and that's what makes it so cute.
Mm-hmm.
About time for you guys to give Katia a step away together. No, hopefully I don't get cut off,
No, you're good. You just go. If you get cut off and you can come back, awesome. If you can't, we will mourn your loss, and we will have to have you on again next week.
If I get cut off, I'm going to be going off my Wi-Fi and then going basically on my phone. And
very cool.
Like, I will not just leave you hanging.
Listen, Mike and I will stream till 3 a.m. Until your power comes back on, and then we'll finish the list.
Yeah.
It doesn't come to that.
Listen, Chris, that is one of my favorite movies. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. I should have wrote that down. That would have been a good one. Katia, do you like horror movies at all?
I do.
Okay. Have you seen Tucker and Dale vs. Evil?
I have not.
It is a amazing sort of spin on a horror movie where these people think that Tucker and Dale, because they're kind of hillbillies, are evil, like axe murdering guys, but they're not. And so these teenagers keep accidentally dying around them, and they think that these teenagers are like in a suicide cult, and the teenagers think that the hillbillies are killing all their friends. It's amazing. It's so funny. I was at a horror movie convention years ago and saw that movie before it was all the effects were finished. So there were even parts of that movie where it was like you would get to a frame and it would just say effects shot.
Oh yeah.
And then it would go, back to the movie. I'm that big of a movie nerd that I would go to movie conventions and watch movies that aren't finished. But anyways, that Tucker and Dale, strong recommend. Super funny. Alan Tudyk, who, if you like Firefly, you should be familiar with. He was Wash. And then I forget who the other guy is, but he's Labine, Tyler Labine. He's in a ton of stuff. Super funny. Anyways, great movie. Mike, please, what is your number 4? I will stop.
I had a few video games written down, but I moved them to my honorable mentions and kept one on the list. This is an old school game that anybody our age absolutely played. There are so many versions of it. The problem is that there really are no board games at all for this IP other than Yahtzee, Uno, and Trivial Pursuit. And that is because I am talking about a very hard to get IP in Legend of Zelda. Legend of Zelda needs to be an open world sandbox game for the world to enjoy. That would be wonderful. Oh my gosh. But
you'd have to have a way to play the music. Like
Spotify, I'm sure. The soundtrack's on there. But look at all the dumb games they've made. This one is a fan-made one, this 2018 one. So that one doesn't really count. Monopoly, yeah. There's nothing. There's a Clue, yay. But they've done nothing with Zelda.
Apparently, the Tiny Epic Quest was kind of to feel like Zelda.
It does give that feel. I will give it that. I sold it just because it was just an okay game for me. I thought the item meeples where they could like hold their swords and shields was kind of cool. The gameplay felt kind of limited. I want something like that on a much bigger scale, like maybe a Mage Knight. Mage Knight in the Zelda universe, like, whoa, now we're talking.
Mike, at the risk of being a jerk, why do you have Yahtzee brought up and then we're all small?
Because I was looking at what is this game down here that's 1956. Oh, that's because Yahtzee was invented in 1956, and they're referencing the So I didn't give you a whole lot of good visual aids on my pick there. I'm showing you just a blank screen of Yahtzee because they've done nothing with Zelda, and I think it's because the IP is hard to get.
Probably.
Yeah.
Totally fair.
If there was a game based off Zelda and you want a soundtrack, there is a band that goes to some of the conventions. Hold on. No, the sticker is on my laptop, which is on the other side.
Oh, it's on the other side.
But they do geeky soundtracks, and it's a live band. So when you go to some of the conventions like Origins or Gen Con, you'll see them in the hallway. And then all of a sudden you hear the Zelda theme song because they're playing it. They play that. They play like whatever, like Star Wars stuff, Mario stuff. So yeah, if you can find like that audio, it's just so much more special because they're like a geeky band.
I love it.
And see,
That's
David's
awesome.
saying there's a couple Zelda games, but like I searched through this whole list of BGG entries and I can't find anything that's like legitimately not a print and play, a fan made thing, or Clue, Trivial Pursuit, or Monopoly. I can't find, or Yahtzee. I can't find anything. So enlighten me, please. I'd love to play a game in that world. So
Yeah.
Oh boy, we got back-to-back jokes here, right here. We got this one.
I don't think that one would hold up. That's amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say. There we go.
Did we get Jason's pun in there? I love his puns. I'm a pun guy myself.
I popped that up there earlier.
Okay, good. I was probably looking. So, all right. So there you go. I mean, just like everybody knows that video game. Everybody our age played it, and still there's no good board game to date for it. So, Legend of Zelda. All right, Timmy.
That's a good one.
It's a great one.
I honestly expected crossover. I thought it was one of the first ones I thought of.
That's gonna be tough to follow. Not gonna lie. Mike.
I got some movies I think you're gonna like, Tim.
Oh, I've got my movie one still in my pocket.
I got some. I think will rival that Zelda.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. Okay, she said she's got more video games. I want to hear them. Let's go to 3.
They're all.
Was to cut Tim off successful.
No, I said they're all Animal Crossing. The Expanse, I believe, has a board game, but I haven't played it yet. But I do enjoy that show quite a bit. And Wayne, dude, I used to love that show as a kid. Like, you give me rockapella with like the, as long as they're singing the clues, I'm there. I am there.
There is a that same company that did that trash version of Oregon Trail, the card game, I think Pressman Ganey. They remade Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. Yeah, this is it. It's Pressman Toy Company. So that one actually does exist. I actually bought this. I don't know what happened to it, and as bad as Oregon Trail was, I'm not too upset. Lost it in a move. Whoops, wrong thing.
Yeah, I can still hear the "Where in the world is Carmen
Sandiego?"
Because
you gotta get deep.
Okay, so when I was in high school and we had computer class, that was one of the games you could play to like learn the commands of the computer. So I used to play all the time, and then I used to watch the show. Yeah.
Katia, I don't want to age you, right? Or like.
Oh, I'm old.
Yeah. No, I have a feeling we're pretty close because I had a very similar schooling experience.
I'm not gonna lie, but not this June. The next one is gonna be a big number.
Oh, so I have a feeling. Okay, so you're probably
we got her by a few years.
I'm guessing she's 5 years younger than me because May is.
I'm gonna be turning 39 this year.
Yeah. See,
my 40s.
I'm gonna be 45 this year. So. Yeah.
43.
Do not recommend. Bad Yelp review.
Yes. I still make noises when I stand up. So
yeah.
Or bend over.
Since I was 35.
True. Same here. They've just gotten louder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Popping and cracking in this body. Like it's just not. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not fun. I sound like Pop Rocks when I get up.
Yes. Which again, we're aging ourselves talking about Pop Rocks.
Oh,
also
true. Also true. Also, well, with the exception of my nerdy tabletop game that I'm going to get into for my pick number 3, everything else is going to date me completely. So my number 3, I am not a particularly religious person. Again, we talked about this earlier today in our own personal chat, but I do love stuff with religious themes because I find religion interesting. There was a role-playing game that I discovered in the 90s. It came out in the 90s called Innomine. So in the name, and you either played as angels or you played as demons. And the dice system for this game was you rolled 6-sided die. You rolled 3 of them. So if you were playing angels and you rolled a 1-1-1, that was like a critical success. And if you rolled 6-6-6, that's a critical fail, right? But if you were demons and you roll 6-6-6, that's a crit success, and vice versa. And this whole game is based on like choirs of angels, and they take that in a literal sense. So like the whole universe is a symphony, and the angels, and we're all like songs in this symphony. And so when things that happen that shouldn't, they cause discordant notes. And then angels and demons can like key into that, right? And they zoom in and they figure out either like, how do I break the symphony, or how do I fix the symphony and keep it going? So Anomine was this role-playing game basically about being angels and demons. There was all these different bands of angels and bands of demons, right? Again, musically themed. So in my game of Anomine, because this was a role-playing game that I absolutely loved, like I still have all the books for it, like almost every book that they put out for it. And sometimes I just like to go and read the lore because I'm a nerd. Ugh, that's awkward to admit. But anyways, so in my version, no, that's not the game. IN space Nomine, NOMINAE. Anyway, I don't know if I spelled that right. Anyways, it's Latin. But in Nomine, that's the one with the burning feather. Again, right? If you want to go for like an epic album cover, an epic book cover, right? The burning feather in Nomine, because it's an angel feather. So anyways, in my version of the game, you'd be playing angels or demons, and you're trying to tip the scales in your favor, right? You could play like 2v2. So there's a band of angels and a band of demons. And then, so you're manipulating the humans into doing different things. And it's also got like this very, okay, Katia, Mike's used to this, but I'm going to apologize because I'm a nerd. There was a book by C.S. Lewis. Most people know who C.S. Lewis is. But anyways, there was a book by him called The Screwtape Letters, and is about a demon that is basically trying to advise his nephew on like how to corrupt humans, like distract them and things like that. Again, I'm not overly religious, but I find all this stuff really interesting. Anyways, so the whole thing is like being a demon, you just don't go around and do bad stuff, because that's not how it works. What you need to do is you need to corrupt people, and you need to get people to do bad stuff. So you like attach yourself to a human, and like, I'm going to get them to do bad things. Like maybe we'll use me as an example. They're trying to like lay off the caffeine a bit. You know what I mean? And then that demon is like their buddy that's like, oh dude, it's been like a really garbage day, right? Like, so you probably just want to have like a coffee or something, right? Like it'll get you through it. You look tired. You should have like a pick-me-up. So they're just trying to get the person to like, they're just slowly corrupt them. And that's where the game for me was really interesting, because it's all about the minutia of it. And listen, I enjoyed D&D as a kid when it's like, I go in and I just kill everything. I'm just trying to kill everything, and for experience points and stuff. But then as I got older and I was playing, when I was playing D&D, it was more about like, oh, what's the cool story? What are we doing? And like these adventures we go on. And so one of the things I liked about Anomine was it was very much built around trying to do these adventures, like having these interesting choices that you'd have to make. So my long story short, too late. My game would be you're playing as one of the sides, opposing each other, right? And there's this push and pull of trying to corrupt people and bring discordance or harmony to the symphony. That's my game. It's Anomine. It's a role-playing game that nobody's heard of. I'm fine with that. Everything else is way more popular, I promise.
Said he wasn't going to be a hipster.
I know. I threw one in.
Well, my number 3 is an old school game. And I mean, the mechanics of it would be probably similar to like Gloomhaven. But picture Chrono Trigger.
Oh my! I have the Chrono Trigger. I have the whole Chrono Trigger game on my iPad. I love Chrono Trigger so much. It is
so good. The characters in the game are so good. Oh my God. I played through it all, I think 2 or 3 times altogether. I don't know. It's so fantastic. And the soundtrack too. That's another one. I would want the soundtrack to play along.
Oh my gosh.
Go on adventures and find those characters and whatever. Like, but Gloomhaven type, where it's like, okay, you're going, making decisions, going places, but
Oh my gosh, I love Chrono Trigger.
Loved it. Yeah.
Great choice.
That is one of those ones where it's like I thought I was the only one. Like I thought I was the only person that loved Chrono Trigger.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Chrono Trigger is so good.
Yeah. Yep.
And David, real quick, yes, Frank Peretti's This Present Darkness, which is a bit of a problematic book, but not a bad read, which I have read it, is sort of similar to, and actually the themes of that kind of tie into a nominee. So nice pull there. But yeah, holy crap, Chrono Trigger, right? The music, the the characters, the Frog Prince, like there's so many characters from that game. Chrono, like hell, just like I got salty when I couldn't play as Chrono for a while because I'm like, no, I love him so much.
I know. I love the robot. The robot.
Yes.
Was my favorite. Yeah.
Robo Punch or whatever his ability was. Oh my God.
I know.
So good. What a good pick. Hold on. I got to just tear up my whole list is invalid because it didn't have Chrono Trigger on it.
So I guess this one of the, I don't remember which one came first. The one that I played that was, I believe, same creator, same world was Secret of Mana. I played the mess out of Secret of Mana, and
that was
I believe,
fine, but I like Chrono Trigger way more.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever played Secret of Mana.
I'm not trying to crap on your thing there, Mike. I apologize.
But just
I don't want to yuck your yum there, Mike.
It's a great pick, regardless. Let's see.
100%.
Chrono Trigger release. So it says Secret of Mana came out in 93, so it was first. Then Chrono Trigger came out in 95.
Okay.
Yeah, so
thank you, Trevor. You could switch back and forth and level every character up individually, including whatever weapon they were holding. Anyway, sorry. They're both great games. It doesn't matter. It's an awesome choice. Yeah. Wow. Great choice. Great choice. I knew you said you were going to pick some old video games, and you surprised a lot of people with that one. That's a great one.
Listen, I didn't expect you to go to like my soul and pull a game from my childhood that I adored. That's not fair.
Oh, well, I came prepared.
You did.
So wow. Mike and I were talking about that before you logged on and before we went live, obviously. But like I grew up playing video games. Mm-hmm. I had a Nintendo, and I didn't have a ton of games, but like my neighbors had this cartridge that had 100 or 300 games. I think it was 305 games on it. We used to bowl all the time. Like I'd play racing games, Arkanoid, Tetris, like whatever. It was Galaga and all of that like stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, and then like the Nintendo 64 I played when I was babysitting some kids in my neighborhood, Sonic and Edge, and then the PS3. Like I played like Oblivion, Skyrim, Witcher 3. Like I spent hundreds of hours playing on those games. So like I'm a huge gamer, like through and through. Like I played Tiger Woods until my
dude, I love that.
Was so good. Like my player was smooth, and I could win all the tournaments. And it was I'm a huge gamer.
I love it. That's awesome.
That's why my list is mostly video games.
No, hell yeah, that's awesome. Great pulls.
That's a really good one. So you were saying dungeon crawler, and the other game that immediately came to mind, I did not put this on my list because I thought it would overlap with Zelda too much.
Oh, no, but wait. But
okay, you still have more video games, so I'll wait. All right, I'll wait.
Honorable mentions, you do that at the end.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Just in case.
You're right. Mm-hmm. I got you. I don't know this one. Okay. So, all right, my next two are movies. I'm venturing into Tim's territory.
I'm listening.
Both of these movies really came to the forefront when I was actually watching some movies.
Mike, if you have my movie game, I'm going to be so mad at you.
Look, this is a whole series. It's one of my favorite horror series of all time.
We're safe.
And when the villain says, "Do you want to play a game? You need to make a game out of the Saw series." Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
You had that on your list?
Not me. Nope.
Oh.
Nope. But Dan will. Dan, if
Because
Dan in the comments will.
I mean, not only do you have the villains, tagline, but how awesome would this be as if this was like a violent adult themed escape room or like an unlock. And then you escape and then it turns into like this survival game where you're picking stuff up and you're literally trying to survive to get out of this place. That's what I envisioned Saw could turn into. I love all those movies. Here's where I'm weird. I like gore. I don't care that some of the plot fell through on some of the later Saw movies.
You mean all of the plot fell through on all of the Saw movies? Because
yes,
that's what happened.
But what they did successfully was they found really unique ways of being gory, and I love that. That's just enough for me. That's it. So I've loved all those movies, man.
Okay. So Mike, I'm gonna sound like a hipster douche here, okay? And I'm gonna apologize. I'm apologize in advance for what I'm about to say. When I was younger, I watched horror movies for the gore. Like that's it, right? I watched Friday the 13th. I wanted the crazy kills, right? I watched Nightmare on Elm Street. I wanted the crazy kills. By the time I reached the Saw movies, and I was like, I've seen it all before. Like, this is just whatever. Like, when I got to the point when the Saw movies were coming out, I remember seeing the first Saw movie in theaters, and my buddies and I were laughing at the screen because we thought it was so bad. We thought it was so bad. Not like, oh, we're great and we're above this. But no, we're like, oh, this is hot garbage. Now, Saw 2, there were parts of Saw 2 that made me legit cringe. Like the girl goes into the pit with all the needles and stuff. Oh, horrible.
Hey, does anybody remember that time where Tim said he wasn't going to crap on my picks? Just saying.
Yeah. I don't remember that ever happening. But in your defense, Mike, they could make great games. They could, because you could come up
even if you don't like the series, it is a great IP for board.
But I now enjoy more horror movies that legitimately like scare me, like Hereditary, stuff that's a little more cerebral. Babadook, where it just makes you ask some questions when it's over. Saw, your questions are like, how did that happen? Like, how did they get there? Why was Danny Glover in this movie? How much did they pay him? Because he does not look like he wants to be here.
No, legitimately, it's probably been 10 years since I watched the Saw movie. I don't even remember when the last one came out.
Also, unpopular opinion, I hate the Scream movies so much. I hate them. Yeah. And I say that as somebody that loves snarky, whatever. But like, I thought that like the first one was kind of cute because it's like, haha, it's so meta. And then after that, it's like, no, everything is meta. I get it. Right. Like,
I've only seen the first one.
Speaking of
any movie where you go and you read the script and it gives you the answers. And I'm not just talking about Saw 2 or 3, whichever one that was, but I'm also talking about Freddy Krueger, the new Nightmare on Elm Street, the new Nightmare, both Wes Craven jams right there. Get them out of here. Like,
did you
so
like
stupid.
The last Halloween?
Oh, I did. I thought the ending was a little weak. Like, I thought they could have tweaked it like a tiny bit, but I've enjoyed the last 3 Halloween movies.
Yeah.
Like,
so this fall, because I had only ever seen the first one, I think parts of it.
Like 1979 Halloween.
Yeah. So this fall, I basically watched all of them. And
No, wait. Did you watch all of them or did you just watch the most recent 3?
All of them.
So you saw the one with like Paul Rudd in it before Paul Rudd was lovable. Everybody loves Paul Rudd.
No, is that the Rob Zombie one?
No, he wasn't in the Rob Zombie ones, which were bad.
Oh, but now you're making me wonder which one is the one with Paul Rudd.
Oh, it might have been like 5. It's where the somebody related to Mike Myers comes back and she's like staying in the house of somebody that is wanting her to die. I don't know. It's bad. It's bad, but Paul Rudd's in it, and it's like, I love Paul Rudd, so I'll watch Paul Rudd.
I was pretty sure I saw them all, but now I'm like, wait, did I miss one? Because
did you see the one with Busta Rhymes where he fights, where he does kung fu on Mike Myers? No, not Halloween X. Yeah, you missed a few. I wouldn't say you missed them. You probably are lucky to avoid them.
Maybe, but I watched at least 4. How many are there?
Oh, there's so many. So there's Halloween 1 and 2, and then Halloween 3 is technically not a Halloween movie. That's the one with the killer Halloween masks. No Mike Myers.
I didn't watch that.
And then 4 is The Curse of Michael Myers. Then 5 is the one with Paul Rudd. 6 is, I think, Halloween H2O, which is the one with Jamie Lee Curtis, Josh Hartnett, and LL Cool J. And then after that was there was another Halloween, and that's the one with Busta Rhymes, which is terrible.
Resurrection.
Halloween Resurrection. And then I saw that shit in theaters. Oh my God, it was so bad.
Before we continue on with this segment of Tim names, and I recognize one of those, Saw X is coming out later this year. It's the 10th installment of that movie.
Oh my God, that's 10?
Yeah, spoiler alert, Mike. I'm going to watch it because I watch every horror movie because I love horror movies. And then I'll go, I guess. I mean, I will. I'll watch it anyways.
I watched a terrible one this Halloween, and it was like a clown, and then he meets like the girl's got angel wings.
Does the clown never talk?
I think so, but
because it's called The Terrifier. I think that you watched The Terrifier.
That was terrible.
See, Mike, this is me. This is my life. I watch bad horror movies all the time.
Was terrible. The plot was awful. And then I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but the girl dies and then comes back to life because she's, I don't know, they've got this whole knife and thing. Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, that was terrible.
I'm going to humble brag real quick, and then we will move on to our next thing. I went to a horror movie trivia night. Oh, you better pour some more. I went to a horror movie trivia night with some friends, and we missed 2 questions through the whole thing.
Oh wow!
Our high score doubled second place. Like that's how bad we won, and it is not necessarily complimentary because all I do is watch horror movies all the time because I love them, even when I hate them.
Well,
but yeah, ironically, I do not have a horror movie on my list. I thought about trying to do a Nightmare on Elm Street.
So what's your number 2 then?
I know, right? Because now your list is invalid. Let's segue first. Horror movies so much he couldn't even.
Cutting you off.
Yeah, no, my list has been invalid the whole time. Yeah, an older horror movie called The Tingler. Yeah, the shtick was so there was a guy named Castle was his last name. He would in the 50s and 60s. His shtick was to like do things in movies to like freak people out. So the original House on Haunted Hill, he would have the movie theater rig a skeleton like on a string to like swing through the theater at a particular part of the movie. And then that movie, The Tingler, they rigged seats to vibrate at certain times because that's when you knew the monster was taking you over, is if you would feel this vibration in your spine. The Tingler.
And it's called The Tingler. Okay.
Yeah.
In the spine, in the back. Okay, because my mind went elsewhere.
Oh yeah, no, not the fun kind. She's blushing. But no, this was like the garbage that guy would do. Frank Castle, no, not Frank Castle. That's the Punisher. Something Castle was his name though. And there was actually a John Goodman movie called Matinee, which was like inspired by that guy. Anyways, movie nerd. I'll stop. Okay, my number 2. We're doing number 2.
What's the show about?
Number 2. It's about board games and movies, IPs.
myself. My number 2 is about a movie. So, Paul Verhoeven was a very popular director in the 80s. Mike or Katia, you're old enough. Do you know what movie the quote "I'd buy that" dollar comes from?
Half that cut out.
Oh, yeah, your mic cut out.
I'd buy that for $1. I'd buy that for $1. Or your move, scumbag.
No.
RoboCop.
Ah.
RoboCop was one of my favorite movies from the late 80s. I rented that shit so many times. I loved RoboCop so much. These guys get it. Nix, you were close with Running Man. I absolutely love Running Man. You were Sub-Zero, or you were whatever. Now you're Sub-Zero, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, Arnold.
Tim, I hate to break this to you, but there was a RoboCop game. It's the VCR game. It looks like a roll and move.
Yeah,
Shut up.
It's like, if it's a roll and move, I'm sorry, but that
doesn't count.
In the same Monopoly category. It's
1988.
Katia doesn't count, right? Doesn't count because it's a roll.
No, I'm kidding. I know I'm kidding.
Okay, so
it's
Katia, have you ever seen RoboCop?
A long time ago.
Oh, okay. Mike, have you ever seen RoboCop?
Yes.
Okay, dude, RoboCop, so good. Anyways, RoboCop is basically, there's this evil corporation that is trying to privatize the police force. So they they take this guy that got shot all to hell. They make him into a robot, and he's gonna be the cop of the future. But the problem is that corporation was paying criminals to make crime worse, so that people would go, yes, we want OCP, this corporation, to privatize the police force. This is why privatization of anything is terrible. Not to get it all political. Anyways,
Sorry,
so
Jason's comment.
Oh, which one was that? They should have stuck with Axel Foley. You're right. Also, almost as good of a theme song, but the theme, like, I can picture the RoboCop theme in my head. Anyways, I freaking loved RoboCop as a kid, and it is one of my favorite movies as a kid. I don't know why that movie stuck with me. It's super violent. It's super gross. I should not have seen that movie in 1988 when it came out, or 89, whatever year that was, because I was like 10 years old, dating myself. But anyways, when I saw that movie, I rented that movie like nonstop. So my version of this movie is, you are playing as RoboCop or another Detroit police person, and you're either going as against the app, right? App-driven game, and they're playing OCP, which is the corporation, or you're playing against Clarence Boddicker, which is the main bad guy, who everybody would know as Red from that 70s show.
Yeah.
He's the main villain in RoboCop.
I do remember that.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, that's how deep I'm in here. But anyways, so you're trying to save the city, Detroit, from OCP or Clarence Boddicker.
Yeah,
I don't
you
care
know me.
Yeah, OCP. Yeah, you know me. Close enough. But anyways, you're trying to save the city. And yeah, you might be, I'll name the actress, Nancy Allen's character. She was the female. I don't remember her character's name, but I remember the actress because I'm a movie nerd. But anyways, so yeah, you'd be playing as the cops, and you're going against the app. So think Descent 3rd edition style, right? Where it's app driven. The board is getting laid out. So, the criminals are showing up, or maybe Ed 209 is showing up. If you're a nerd and you know who Ed 209 is, that was the two-legged It's got the big guns on the side, and it kills that guy because it malfunctions. Holy shit. Look up Ed 209. It's so good. That clip. Katia, after the show, I will apologize because you will get flooded with clips from RoboCop.
That's okay. Like I said,
it's been like
it's just been so
35
long because I was a kid.
Right.
Like,
Oh,
Yeah, it
no.
was like
Yeah,
30 years since I've watched it.
Oh, it's so old. Do not watch the remake, despite the fact that it has Michael Keaton in it as the villain. And I love Michael Keaton. Normally, I say watch every single thing with Michael Keaton. But remake has Joel Kinnaman as RoboCop. But anyways, OG has Peter Weller. So good. RoboCop, one of my favorite movies of all time. It's got one of the best lines, Mike, of all time. Katia, I'm going to apologize in advance. The bad guy walks into this room, and this guy is in this guy is doing like basically coke with like hookers, and the bad guy walks into the room and goes, "Bitches, leave," and they just get up and they go, and then he proceeds to like monologue before killing this guy. It's so good. And then again, the iconic, "I'd buy that for $1," which is the commercial that keeps popping up. All the other RoboCops way inferior, even though RoboCop 2 is interesting. Yeah, all the other RoboCops inferior.
I don't even remember which one I'm supposed to watch
don't
now.
say it. He's like, he said it.
Yeah, he did. He did. I did.
And
I did.
It's because he knows his audience here.
Yeah, listen, I cleared this with Katia basically before we got into this.
It's
So
fine.
I knew she wouldn't like jump off the stream because I said something horrible.
Yeah.
Anyways, RoboCop. I love that movie so much. I used to also, you talk about video games. I played that video game so much. The RoboCop Nintendo game. I rented it all the time. It was hard as hell. Also, the first movie I saw where like a dude got hit by a car after getting toxic waste dumped on them, and they like exploded when they got hit by a car. It was like the goriest thing I've ever seen, Mike. So there you go. I see or saw. I raised
Which
you a
one?
RoboCop. RoboCop.
You know
Which one? You
One.
mentioned like, okay. I
RoboCop
lost
1.
track. I lost track
The
10
best.
minutes ago. Which one?
The best.
There's-
And yes, Nix, it was a
Yeah, what do you
freaking
remember?
side scroller. It was brutal. It was brutal. I needed Game Genie to beat the side scroller.
Oof.
Now
You know
I'm
what's
really
funny is when you said you were too young to watch RoboCop, is I'm thinking to myself, I was probably younger when I watched RoboCop.
so
And, like, okay, I was way too young when I watched Silence of the Lamb.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I never watched it. I was in elementary school.
So
Like,
I
mean less than 10. And I
yeah,
watched
so Katia, I probably saw that movie close to when it came out. And if you're 5 years, 6 years younger than me, you definitely saw it at way too young of it.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see it in the movies, but it was like on TV and it was the new thing that,
So
87.
I have a sister that is 9 years older than me. So she had to babysit us all the time. And she was just like, "You're watching what I'm watching because I'm stuck babysitting you." So I saw Nightmare on Elm Street on HBO in like 1985, like a year after it came out. So that would have made me 7, and it scared the bejesus out of me.
I was very young when I saw those two. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were creepy. They would give you nightmares. Yeah.
Yeah. So I get it. I get it. But I will say, Silence of the Lambs, you could be 40 and maybe still be too young to watch that. That's pretty rough.
It's disturbing. Yep.
All right.
My number 2 is a lot more fun than that. It's a lot more lighthearted than that.
Good,
I don't
good.
mean fun in like the gameplay. I just mean like, well, yeah.
In theme, everything.
So again, I'm a huge game nerd. So I don't mean board games, but the video game part. Final Fantasy. Oh wait,
Which one? Which
that
one?
has to be a hard IP to get also because there's not a whole lot out there. I'm gonna even narrow it down more. Not Blitzball, because that would also be super fun, but Chocobo Racing. I think there needs
Nice.
to be a game where, okay, the game, the way I envision it is twofold. You start the game with like Chocobo breeding in some kind, like
I love the chocobos, everything with them.
And you race them. That's my game.
You had me at racing.
I know.
You have me at chocobos.
And again, you have to have the little soundtrack of those little noise that they make.
Yeah.
And then oh my god.
Again, you want to? I have what is that? Final Fantasy VI on my iPad. Like I play it all the time. I love it. My game progression has stalled because all I'm trying to do is breed that perfect chocobo just for that. Like I love it.
I played through 3 twice fully, and 10 was the other one I played a couple times. 10 with the Blitzball.
Blitzball's great. Blitzball's great. But man, the chocobo racing.
Oh yeah. The chocobo, they're so cute. You just want to get on it and but yeah. So there has to be and somebody told me there like years ago when I mentioned it on one of the board game groups, somebody said something like, "Oh, but there is one and it's rated really poorly," and I think it's not what I'm picturing in my mind. So
does not count.
I'm moving it on the table as somebody's gonna make it.
So here's the thing: is you breed your own. The first phase of the game, you breed your chocobos, right? You get the traits you want, and then the second round you race them.
Like, you're breeding them, or like you're like breeding and like maybe like auctioning, and it's like, oh, I want this one or blah blah blah.
Yes.
And then while they race, you probably have like, I don't know, a set of card or rolls or whatever that will give you, if you start with like a crappier chocobo, I don't know, something that will like give you an edge or like catch up mechanics.
And then we bring Mike into this and get Mike really excited because you get to bet on who's gonna win the chocobo race.
You had me at racing and auctioning. Now you're adding betting, and I'm already working on a prototype. Now,
Mike, here's the thing: is all I do is look out for you.
I could honestly see like Cubitos being rethemed into chocobo racing, because it's a racing game where you start with basic dice and then you're like buying better ones, and that could be like your chocobo leveling up. I don't know.
It could be. I'm almost picturing Cubitos more as like Mario Kart.
Yeah, for sure.
Because of the things that you can land on during the race, and you're picking up stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one too.
Yeah, that's another one.
I didn't play as much Final Fantasy when I was younger because I was not always a fan of turn-based RPGs. I preferred Zelda and Secret of Mana because it was live action.
Oh, see, I was the complete opposite. So I like to take my time to figure out, okay, what do I want to throw at this guy? It's like, okay, I'm going to start with like this spell, and then I'm gonna take a potion, and then I'm gonna like use this character, and then I love the pausing of the fighting. So when it got into like the later versions of Final Fantasy, they switched into this live stuff. That's when they lost me. Yeah, I need to have my time to figure out what the hell I'm picking, because there's like the more you level up, the more stuff you got to choose from. And I'm not that fast. Like I need to have, yeah.
I like those a lot better now, but when I was younger, not so much. So the first one I got into was 6.
Okay. Yeah, for me it was 3, like the top-down view, and then you had your little vessel, and you could uplift it and go and plunk it elsewhere and explore there, and then, but yeah, it's funny because like I actually didn't like the live games until I tried Oblivion, and that's when I was like, okay, yeah, because I was always afraid of like running into a monster and it being like too big for me. And so first of all, when I game, I save every 2 minutes.
Oh yes.
Nice. So I'm definitely like, I will see a monster there, save before I go in, because yeah, if I die, it's like I'm not going back from like way back then. No. But yeah, so like Oblivion was my first really like live fight. And I mean Zelda, obviously you're throwing knives, but Zelda's Zelda. Like it's
That's a good pick. Okay, I have got another movie, so plan on Tim taking over.
Apologies in advance.
Honestly, this now has 4 entries into this series.
Are you doing number 2 or are you doing number 1? I'm confused.
Number 2.
Oh, I thought I was waiting for the banner.
Oh.
No, you're last.
After me, so I can. Yeah. Okay, so 4-part movie series. The most recent one was just last year or this year. I can't tell. Very recent. I just feel like this world, this universe, this story building through this 4-part series is just tailor-made for a board game, and that is The Matrix.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, so here was the first idea I had in my head was, well, maybe this could be an Epic 4X. And then I started thinking about like, no. We're just going to retheme Star Wars Rebellion. We're going to have all of the agents being the rebels. They're in their base. They're hiding with the other rebels, and they can spawn the Nebuchadnezzar. They have, and there's so many characters you can throw in there and use as your leaders.
Hold on, stop. You said the agents being the rebels?
Did I say agents?
You did.
Whoops. I used the wrong word. So anyway, whatever the heck, I don't even remember what you call the good guys in the Matrix. I can't even remember. So the Matrix, Star Wars Rebellion. You're defending the Oracle and the Keymaker. You're learning about the Architect. Meanwhile, you've got agents spawning and trying to find where your base is. Then you got to worry about the machines coming after your base. Oh my gosh, the Star Wars Rebellion rethemed as the Matrix just hits a home run for me, in my opinion. Now, I feel like that would be incredible.
What you just described sounds like Avatar. You just made it in my mind. It's like this could also be an Avatar board game.
True.
Because you're defending the Tree of Life. You're worried about them coming after you and the machines and all of that. And I'm like,
I think the only difference would be, the important distinction would be the machines and the agents don't know exactly where the humans are. So they've got bases and they all know exactly where they are. So they're trying to find them, which fits that Star Wars Rebellion gameplay.
So that's the difference between being a Wachowski and a Cameron thing, I guess. No, that's cool. That's cool. I like the Matrix quite a bit. So I'm with you. I'm here for it.
I haven't watched it in a really long time.
Yeah, me either. And I didn't watch the newest one. So shame on me, I suppose. The first 3 movies were, I thought, really good. And if at the end of the first one, when they kind of zoom out and then like Neo flies off and they play that Rage Against the Machine song, don't you just feel invincible at that point in time? Like
hold
nothing can stop me right now.
Katia's Canadian. They don't get as angry as you and I do, Mike.
Yeah, but Americans. I still know what Rage Against the Machine is.
You don't remember that band from the 90s?
Yes.
Dude, Tom Morello.
Yes.
Oh, I misunderstood what you said. Sorry.
I'm just saying that Canadians are too nice.
No, but no, that's not true. See, we look nice from like an outside perspective, and then at some point, it's like we have a switch.
I mean, I have listened to some podcasts about Canadian serial killers, so I know what's up.
Yeah, it's like just don't trigger the switch. That's all.
All right, so here we go. We are on to our number ones.
Okay, so last week, if anybody watched, I totally catered my number one to Mike, and it was legit because it was games we want to play but haven't, and I put Mike's game as my number one.
Oh, suck up. Yeah,
I know. I love it. A movie. This is not my number one, but I really thought hard about it. My number one was going to be my favorite Canadian movie I've ever seen. I love it. I quote it.
Bacon, please.
I quote it all the time, and it stars Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas, and that is Strange Brew.
Oh,
that's what I assumed was coming.
Have you never seen Strange Brew, Katia? So
what's it called in French? I might have.
I don't know how do you say Strange Brew in French?
I know, but they would they hold on, let me
Le Strange Le Brew. So Strange Brew is like these brothers, they just want to drink beer all the time. That's all they want. So they get a job at a brewery because I think that's smart.
I've never seen that.
Oh my God, Katia, you need to see Strange Brew. So they're like, oh, okay. So, we're going to go work at this brewery. We're going to drink some beer, eh? And anyways, there's hockey in it. There's a famous hockey player from the early 80s, late 70s in it. Anyways, Strange Brew is so funny. It is one of my all-time favorite movies. It has a series of musical notes that I will just randomly spew out like loudly just to see if anybody gets it. Bob is one of my best friends, so he gets me. He understands this. Anyways, Strange Brew is so freaking funny, but I did not go with Strange Brew. And no, David Brown, Laverne and Shirley is in Milwaukee, not the same thing. But no, Strange Brew, there's a evil brewmeister that has put a mind control drug in the beer, and then they're going to ship all that beer to like a brew fest, like an Oktoberfest kind of thing. And all the Canadians are going to drink it. Anyways, Strange Brew, super Canadian, super funny. It's my top honorable mention, but I couldn't come up with like a really funny game for Strange Brew as much as I wanted to do something Canadian. And no, Katia, not Canadian bacon. Come on, that's low hanging fruit. I'm a movie hipster. I'd have to go way better than that. But no, I went the Ghostbusters route. No, this is not a Ghostbusters game. But in Ghostbusters, they have to think of the most purest, harmless, most wonderful thing from your childhood. Something that can never be corrupted for evil or bad, right? Like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. No, my game, my IP that I want a game from, because I'm old and this was big in my childhood, The Muppets. I want a Muppet Show game. And in my version of the game is you are playing as somebody, whether it's Scooter or Fozzie or Gonzo or Miss Piggy, and you are wanting to have the best, because the Muppet Show is a variety show, right? So like every week they're doing their bits, right? And so you want your bit to be the most popular bit on the show. So you're the fan favorite. So in my game, that's what you're trying to do, is you're trying to create the best variety act for the Muppet Show. So you could be Lou Zealand, who throws the fish, because I'll go deep cuts like that because I don't care, right? You could do Fozzie just telling bad jokes. You could do Miss Piggy. Maybe you're singing with Elton John. Maybe you're singing with Alice Cooper. You're doing a fun song. Maybe you're Gonzo and you just want to be shot out of a cannon, because I freaking love Gonzo. Anyways, any of the Muppets, I don't care. Pick one, any era. I'm a Muppets fan through and through. I love the Muppets so much. Muppets are my number one. Give me a Muppets board game. I'm freaking buying it. I don't care.
There's 2 Muppet Monopolies and a Muppets Yahtzee. That's it.
Yeah.
Nope.
So go to hell. Those don't count.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on. It was okay. So again, because I grew up with French TV, so Muppets was not in my show. Is Muppets the one that has the Manona?
Exactly what that is.
Oh my god!
Yes.
Oh my god! That will be. You have to have those in there.
Yes.
They're the best thing since sliced Mana.
Phenomena.
I did not see this one coming.
You're welcome. That's going to be stuck in your head for the rest of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I'm more of a Fraggle Rock person, so somebody had said in there.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I grew up on Fraggle Rock.
Na, 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 na.
Save your worries for another day. Dance your cares away.
Yeah.
Down in Fraggle Rock. Yeah, Fraggle Rock, you got the dozers, you got the trash heap, you got all that. I was there for it. But because I'm just like a little bit older, I just went to Muppet Show. I love the Muppet Show. I love the Muppet movie. I love the Great Muppet Caper. I love Muppets Take Manhattan.
Tim, do you remember
Muppet Treasure Island?
Do you remember in the early 90s coming home, turning on Channel 46 when they would play the Muppet Babies?
Yes.
It's like, yeah, the Muppet Babies. They made a cartoon out of it, and they were like little baby versions of the Muppets.
Mm-hmm. They'll make your dreams come true.
Is it kind of like Tiny Toon? Not Tiny Toon.
Yeah. Tiny Toons. Yeah.
And then they did like the little wee version. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Muppet Babies.
Yeah.
What you got?
No. You want my number one?
Let's hear it.
Okay, so my number one is actually something I hope to design someday.
Ooh.
I'm sharing it right now as an exclusive. There's only a handful of people who know.
It's a game. It's a game about making board game mosaics.
No.
Oh shit! I tried.
That's already in the works. However, I'd like a Muppet game. I think the Chocobo. Okay, yes, of course, because Chocobos are amazing. But wait for this one. This IP is like so near and dear to my heart. Little Big Planet.
Oh wow!
Right?
Good one.
How amazing would it be to know? Hold on. So I'm picturing like either the flip book, and you have different worlds as you flip, because that would probably be easier than like setting up tiles or whatever as like you're going through the level or whatever. But I would want your little sack boy to be 3D with arms that when you fling it, he will like slap. Like in the game, you slap other people. Okay, so I would make it so that like if you did it like you rotate him, his arms are like loose and you could actually slap each other. But I would make it so that it's a co-op because you're working together. Obviously, you would have to collect things like in the those bubbles at in the actual game, like you're collecting those bubbles and it kind of counts points at the end, but you don't really care because you're just trying to make it through the level. But yeah, like I'm picturing something with like boss guys or like major like obstacle things, and I don't know, but also I would want accessories because that was half of the fun, was to decorate your pod, decorate your sack boy, and I don't know how that would work, but man, like I'm wondering if it's like you would have your like sack boy there that you can like fling the arms, but maybe you have like your character, and then there are like magnetic things you can put as you like discover them at, like, for example, you and then it's like, oh, you've just unlocked the like whatever the ballerina tutu, and it's like, sweet, I'm putting that on my sack board, like, and you're like, I don't know, but there has to be something.
What a good IP to pull from, man. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
I don't know if that's ever doable. If they have
I know about this game series, but I've never played any of them.
Oh my god, it was so good. Okay, so just to paint you a little picture. So when you were playing it, like you entered the level. First of all, the soundtrack was always perfect for the level. It was catchy. It was fun. If you got into a scarier part, it started to change tone, and like it was perfect. And then the fact that every level was made out of real things, like fabric, cardboard, whatever you can think of, like dirt, things that you experience in your daily life, and it was made out of that stuff. So, and yeah, like obviously, like you see that, like the oh my god, what was his name? The guy from the other video game, the one with the lightning bolt on his face.
From Gods of War,
Thank you. Yeah.
Kratos or whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
him.
So as like the game went on, like they got different stuff like that you could purchase and make your Sackboy more interesting. But yeah, like the fact that it was all these like textures that were super cool. Like I'm picturing you have your level and you're opening. It's like, okay, now we're exploring this world. We got to do this stuff, blah blah blah. And then you're doing, and then it's like these like fun, cool textures.
And that's the thing, Katia, with that game is I feel like it would have to be very tactile, right? Because that's the point. Is when you look at like Sackboy, right, and he just looks like he feels like this. You already know in your mind, like what he's gonna feel like when you pick him up. So yeah, every component like has to have a unique like tactile, feature to it.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta ask because I jokingly called your dog Piss Fingers earlier. What's your dog's name?
Bruno.
Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. No, we don't talk about Bruno.
Right here.
We don't talk about Bruno.
He's so sweet. He's all sleepy and warm.
See, Tim, you could be enjoying a dog at your home.
Oh, no.
Okay, my number one. I feel like we're kind of learning a little bit about each other because of these IPs. Like, these are games you played when you were a kid. These are books that Tim used to read or movies he used to watch.
Sorry.
My all-time favorite show has been going for 26 seasons now.
The Simpsons.
The Simpsons.
They're incorrect.
Jinx. Oh. What? Cheers.
South Park.
Oh, South Park.
And these guys are massive board gamers. Yes, there's an Uno. Yes, there's a Trivial Pursuit. And yes, there is a Munchkin coming later this year, but it's not out yet. There is so much content. It's kind of out, but I looked and I couldn't find a place to buy it. So I'm like, I'm going with my favorite IP of all time. A Munchkin that's not readily available is not going to count.
You got to know a guy, Mike. You got to know a guy that
I do. His name's Tim.
Yeah.
So why do I like South Park? So yes, they came out when I was in high school, and we discovered earlier that all of us have a pretty sick sense of humor. Like, there's no boundaries, there's no filters. I will laugh at anything if it's in the right context. I don't care. Like, I don't care who it offends. If it's funny, it's funny. Thank you, South Park, for still bringing that kind of humor in 2023. They do not care who they piss off. They don't care. Everybody is on the chopping block when you watch an episode of South Park. These guys are geniuses. They've made musicals that are like award-winning. They've made movies, multiple movies. They've made
basketball is still to this day.
Basketball's hilarious.
Is so funny.
Okay, and these guys
so funny.
Are gigantic board gamers. There's multiple video games of South Park.
Orgasmo is their best movie, but I'm just going to put that out there. It is so not appropriate for most people, but Orgasmo is my favorite movie of theirs.
So,
Mike, please continue.
My tangent starts in season 1, where we're first introduced to Mr. Hanky the Christmas Poo, which, by the way, okay, so we need a Christmas game.
Christmas Poo.
In this episode, the townsfolk are upset that Christianity is taking over the schools, and this is when people didn't, they were afraid. It was like we went through that phase where we were afraid to say Merry Christmas. So the townsfolk voted to take Christianity out of the Christmas play, and it turned into this terrible minimalistic ooh, ooh, oh, oh, type of music, just super oh, this is a Christmas play? You got to be kidding me. So this is a drafting game where you're spreading your influence through the town, and it's the non-Christians versus the Christians. And so you're basically adding influence, going around the town, trying to get people to vote to take Christianity out of schools. Season 2,
Hi-ho, kids.
we're introduced to Chef's Chocolate Salty Balls for the first time. This needs to be Quacks of Quedlinburg, the bag building game. You're just mixing ingredients and trying to make the best chocolate salty balls.
Wrong bag.
God.
Wrong bag.
I just thought of the Saturday Night Live, the SNL.
Yeah. Oh, your sweaty balls.
Oh, that is one of the funniest things they've ever made.
I would love to have your sweaty balls in my mouth.
How those two
Oh my God.
together
That's a good one.
without breaking out of character. It's beyond me. I would have lost
So good.
it. I would have lost it.
Your sweaty balls sound amazing.
The Underpants Gnomes are introduced late season 2. What I love about the Underpants Gnomes is they have this board in their warehouse.
They're in this game.
It says, yes, thank God. It says phase 1, collect underpants. Phase 2, ? Phase 3, profit. Well, how do we make profit? So my Underpants Gnome, this is going to be a engine building worker placement game, very similar to a Feast for Odin. You've got this gigantic board of worker placement spots, and you're going to try to get your gnomes jobs so they can actually make profit. So, hey, just stealing underpants is not going to make you any profit. Who are you selling these used underpants to anyway?
You'd be surprised.
Season 3, they have Chinpokomon, which of course is Pokemon. So this can be like their mobile game called Phone Destroyer, which isn't bad. It's kind of side-scrolling tower defense. Anyway, Chinpokomon, it needs to be an LCG. Add some tower defense options. There you go, Phone Destroyer. Season 4, something you can do with your finger. This is when the boys make their own boy band, and they call it Finger Bang. So this is Finger Bang, the boy band deck building game. So you're going around playing gigs and basically just trying to get money playing gigs. You can level up your cards. They have charisma. They got singing abilities.
Finger bang your way into my heart.
That's right. Finger Bang, the deck building game. Season 5, How to Eat with Your Butt. This is going to be a party game called Make Cartman Laugh Again. How to Eat with Your Butt was the episode where Cartman wants to prove that you can eat by shoving food up your butt and then pooping it out your mouth. They also introduced characters that have butts for faces. They have butts for faces. So the game is very similar to Cards Against Humanity. You're going to basically play a card, and your goal is to get the judge to laugh. That's it. You get points if they laugh. So it's a game of people trying not to laugh. Has anybody made a game like that? Not that I know of.
Okay, so if you like a game idea like that, watch the Amazon series. It's called Last One to Laugh, I think. So
Last One Laughing. The Canadian version of Last One Laughing is amazing. It's got so many of my favorite comics in it.
Wait, I watched the Quebec one. There's another one from Canada?
Is it hosted by the kid from Jay Baruchel?
Oh,
and it's got Dave.
That one.
You need to watch Last One Laughing.
I saw the French one with all like the comedians I grew up watching. So that was
no.
But then I watched the British one with
watch the Canadian one. Watch the Canadian one. It's so good. It's so good.
But Mike, that show is basically what you're describing. So it's a bunch of comedians in one room for 6 hours, and it's whoever is the last one to like laugh wins the prize for their charity. But
nice.
Throughout the whole show, they do stupid shit. They do skits.
Oh my gosh.
Like the craziest stuff. And they're trying to make each other break.
The Canadian one has like Caroline Ray and Tom Green and Dave Foley from Kids in the Hall.
I only watched the French one.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
I think it wasn't the UK one, it was the Australian one. And Rebel Wilson is the host.
Oh, she's so funny.
Oh yeah, that one was good too.
Nice.
That one was good too.
So it is even better if you know who any of the comedians are. And I guarantee you the Canada one, 90% of the comedians. But man, Bob showed us that we basically watched that on Bob's phone on the way to Origins last year. We watched the whole thing and then quoted it the whole time at Origins. Delicious cheese sandwiches. That's all I'm gonna say. When you watch it, I've always loved Tom Green anyways. Because he's not everybody's cup of tea, but that dude is so freaking funny in that show. Oh my God, I love him.
He was just at the Yuck Yucks, which is like a comedy club here recently, and we almost went to see him, but schedule wise wasn't working or something. I forget why, but we went like the night before, so it was a different. It was a guy that was on Letterkenny, but still really funny.
Well, yeah, there's a dude from Letterkenny on that Last Comics Laughing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
got it's Squirrely Dan. Squirrely Dan is on that one. And John LaJoie, like if you like John LaJoie.
Oh my God. That was
Show me your genitals.
No, it was he had a video on YouTube that was like everyday, regular, normal guy.
Yeah.
Oh
that same dude.
God, are you for real?
Yes. So good.
It's hilarious. He now writes a lot of movies a lot of songs that are in movies.
Yeah, John LaJoie is amazing. I love him.
He is. Oh, that was. Oh, you're taking me back to my early YouTube days when we used to watch funny stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah. That was the one. I played that song every day for 2 months.
I'm saying bye to John Gahn. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting, and we will see you next time, hopefully.
I might carry on with your very thorough.
I have more South
very
Park
thorough.
games.
This is the one where you had 13 versions of the game.
Yeah.
Correct. These are all different games. This is how much content you can make out of South Park. 26 seasons. Season 6, the biggest douche in the universe. This is about John Edwards, the psychic, because we all know psychics aren't real.
Yeah.
So this is a cooperative game similar to the Mine, where you're trying to figure out what other people are thinking, and then you got to play cards in sequential order. We're going to call it the biggest douche in the universe. Season 9, Trapped in the Closet. It's about an unnamed religion that will sue you if you talk about them.
Not Scientology.
No,
totally Scientology.
No, they have R. Kelly in the closet because he had a song named Trapped in the Closet. And they have Tom Cruise in this episode, and Stan is looking for new people to hang out with. So he walks into a church of the S word you mentioned, and they say, "Oh my gosh, his thetan levels are so high." So then they determine that he is the reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard, the creator of Scientology. So the rest of the episode, he just writes things down and they scribe it into Scientology law because they think he's the reincarnation of their founder. This is an RPG. Just make up your own rules. Ooh, okay, Tim, you'll like this one. You're the one that one time told me about Campaign Manager 2008 and said it's a decent game.
Love it. It's a great game.
Season 8, Douche and Turd. PETA petitions against the use of the school's mascot, which is a cow. So they vote on 2 new mascots, either a giant douche or a turd sandwich, because we all know if you vote, those are your only options.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be remake of Campaign Manager 2008. Season 10, Make Love Not Warcraft. This is when there's an old guy who's killing all the new players in the spawn zone, and everybody gets mad because they can't play the game. They're just spawning and dying. So this is a one-verse mini game where you're trying to take out this one super powerful World of Warcraft character. Okay, Tim will love this one because he loves Wonderland's War. Imagination Land 1 through 3. This is a 3-part series where Kyle, all right, here we're really going to dig into my sense of humor. My tangent's almost over. Trust me, guys. Okay, so in this episode, Cartman makes a bet with Kyle that leprechauns exist and they are real. And the bet is, if Cartman's right, Kyle has to suck his balls. He makes him sign a piece of paper. In that episode, he runs into a leprechaun and finds out it's from Imagination Land. And by the end of the 3rd episode, Cartman takes Kyle to Supreme Court, and they agree that Kyle is responsible for sucking Cartman's balls. He never does, but the war in the Imagination Land does happen, and that's why we're going to play Imagination Land's War.
Oh boy.
Yeah, baby.
As long as it plays faster. As long as it plays faster.
2 more, I'm done. Dennis beat me to it. Cock Magic. This was an episode about roosters playing magic.
Magic the Gathering?
Yes. This was roosters playing Magic the Gathering. They called it Cock Magic. There's your LCG, except it's going to be
like
wings.
Fish sticks.
Yes.
Do you like fish sticks?
Last one, season 21. I did not go all the way to season 26. Last one, my 13th game. Season 21, white people renovating houses. This is a polyomino game where you are trying to build the nicest home.
Oh my
As
God.
long as they're only white dominoes while you do it.
It's very what is it? HGTV?
Yeah.
They were absolutely. And that's what I love about them. I mean, like anybody that hasn't paid attention to South Park in 20 years thinks, oh, they're just toilet humor. Okay. That's where they started and they still sprinkle it in. But for 20 years, South Park has been a satirical commentary on our society. It is very reverent. It is very hilarious. I will never tire of anything South Park does. So thank you for listening to my tangent.
Listen, hold on. First of all, Orgasmo is one of my favorite Trey Parker, Matt Stone movies. It's way better. No offense to anybody. It's way funnier to me than Basketballs. And it's almost as good as Cannibal the Musical, which is also amazing.
I don't even think my tangent one is as long as half of Tim's movie tangents. Just saying.
No doubt.
Nothing better aside from the Dumb and Dumber that we talked about, there's nothing better than basketball.
Hold on.
But
Katia, have you seen Orgasmo yet?
I have not, but
okay. Watch Orgasmo.
Is like really good.
I know, Steve. Perry, you said no Journey psychouts. Don't get me wrong, I love basketball. But you need to watch Orgasmo. It's so funny because it's a Mormon kid who gets tricked into doing porno movies, but he can't do the sex scenes, so they have to have a stunt person come in and do it. It's so funny. Anyways, it's amazing. I love to quote this movie all the time, but it's totally inappropriate all of the time because of the nature of the movie. Anyways, Orgasmo is amazing. But Mike, my most recent favorite South Park is the Peruvian flute players, where the gigantic guinea pigs are like destroying the city. I don't know why. That makes me laugh so hard because they actually just have guinea pigs like in the shitty Halloween costumes, like destroying things. I laugh till I cry. Now, full disclosure, I did that before my daughter owned guinea pigs. Like we have guinea pigs upstairs. If I were to be able to teleport just 5 feet in this direction directly, I would be in a guinea pig cage with a couple of guinea pigs.
Wow. So what's crazy about this one is that this was season 12, which is 2008. And the name of that episode is Pandemic.
Yeah.
And they actually, in 2020, they actually did have 4 episodes and they were all 100% pandemic vaccination based. They're hilarious as well.
No, but yeah, pandemic 12 years before.
Yeah.
12 years before the pandemic.
Anywho,
Trey Parker, Matt Stone are amazing.
That's my style of humor. Anything goes. If it's funny, it's funny. And I'm with you. And so I just love that they can still stay relevant and just pick any topic out of the blue that's current, and that's their episode. So just
Mike, I thought for sure you were going to have a Mel Brooks Meaning of Life. Because you were so excited about that series, which was actually legit pretty funny.
I'm a little behind.
You were so excited about that.
But speaking of Mel Brooks, is there a Spaceball board game?
No, I mean there's probably in the movie Spaceballs, the board game.
The board game.
Quest for more money.
Because he goes, oh, here we have Spaceballs, the lunchbox, Spaceballs, the board game, Spaceballs, the flamethrower. He's like, kids love these.
The Schwartz be with you. Well done. I want to hear some honorable mentions.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so my one is like something that is actually kind of a board game, and I think it's sort of like a roll and move, but Lemmings.
Oh, that would be a great board game.
If everybody had like a little clump of lemmings, they had to like make sure that you are like the last one with the most to survive or something, or you could make it like a 1 versus 1 player where it's like one person is controlling the lemming clump and the other person is like throwing obstacle or like get like ways to make them die, and you're trying to like come out ahead of the I don't know.
Have you guys, I have a board game called Leaping Lemmings.
Yes,
and you are like,
that one popped up. I was looking.
Yeah, hold on.
Sure, I understand.
While he's looking, and this wasn't one of my honorable mentions, but it made me think of an old video game that could work along. You remember Worms?
Oh yeah.
Worms could be a board game. It could almost be a dexterity game where you're like launching a marble at something. I don't know. Worms.
So anyways,
Worms?
Yeah, he said Worms.
Remember the
Worms instead of lemmings.
In Leaping Lemmings, you're trying to make your way. You're playing as lemmings, and you're trying to make your way across the board. And then if you can then jump off the cliff, you get to score points for them. But then there's things that are like you can like move the eagle, and the birds will scoop up the lemmings that are exposed. It's super fun, and it's kind of disguised as a kid's game, but it's kind of dark because well, you're lemmings, you're trying to jump off the cliff, or you are trying to get the eagle to eat your opponent's lemmings. So anyways, and I think the lemmings have names. I'm going to crack this box open real quick. I won this game at a convention. I was so excited.
But speaking of worms, Earthworm Jim.
Earthworm Jim!
Ooh.
So the only thing that reminds me of him is in the game Creature Comforts.
Mm-hmm.
The first player token, which somehow my copy didn't come with one. I only have the cardboard one, but it reminds me of Earthworm Jim.
So yeah, all of the lemmings have names, which is even better.
Janice.
So you have Janice, and this one is.
I thought about this,
Forest.
Bob.
And there's.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm not like super familiar with the Bond movies. I played a ton of GoldenEye, but I actually thought the exact same thing. A 1v many James Bond game would sound really cool. It's just not one of my favorite IPs.
Which one? Which one wasn't one
James
of your favorite
Bond,
IPs? Oh.
1v many, not one of my favorite IPs. But I thought of a 1v mini before we did this, and I didn't even write it down. What else? What other honorable mentions you got?
What did I have?
I
had one before starting, and now I forget what it was, and I didn't write it down. Oh, I just remembered. It's a newer. Again, I'm into the video games. It's a newer video games. It was kind of indie. It was called Limbo.
Don't know that.
Okay. So the premise was that you were this little like boy who I don't know if he like at the beginning got his brain fried or like some kind of alien is like controlling his brain. Like, so like a little bug I think attached to his brain, and basically it makes him walk in a straight like it's a side scrolling kind of game, but you're like walking and you can never just like turn around because he's basically a zombie. So he's walking around and it's all black and white, and there are like obstacles and things like that and monsters that you have to like avoid. And like I just remember you're only able to control him so much because he's brain dead basically. So he's just walking forward, and then eventually there's like a tree, there's a big spider that comes and like attacks him. And so you're having to like kind of work with the limited amount of brain power he's got and try and like pull things or whatever it is. But yeah, there are certain things you cannot control because he's got this little like thing attached controlling him. Yeah, it's horrifying and beautiful. Yeah, because like, yeah, the way that it was designed and like the artwork of it is very unique. The style is very cool looking, but it was completely black and white. And yeah, like you would get into the scene and there's like nothing there except for like one item, and then you're like, something's gonna come out of it, and your character dies like all the time throughout the game. It's ruthless, but yeah, it was really, really cool.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
That sounds awesome.
yeah.
I have a few. I'll start with my video games that didn't make the list. They're making a new version in July, and I'm going to lose months of my life to it, and that's Diablo. Diablo is an excellent dungeon crawling action RPG. It's just, there is a game by CGE called Sanctum that is supposed to, a lot of people say, mimics the Diablo universe. But yeah, a dungeon crawler based on Diablo would just be awesome. Red Dead Redemption. If you could, I mean, that kind of feels like, oh shoot, what's the, that would be too serious. What's the one? I can't think of it now. It's a sandbox game with a Western theme. It's a few years old now. It's Western Legends is what it is. It'd be like Red Dead Redemption, like Western Legends. Exactly, Dan. Like that's exactly the kind of game Diablo. Like, I mean, they've made Dark Souls games. And Diablo is an IP that's been around for 20 years. I mean, they've made a StarCraft game. Blizzard. This is a Blizzard IP. They've made a StarCraft game. They made a Warcraft game. Hook us up with a Diablo game. I'm here for it. And I have one other game. I played this so much right around the time I was playing Diablo on PC. And I don't think there's a game that's done this to my satisfaction, and that's Roller Coaster Tycoon. Now, I know Scott Alms has one coming out where it looks more like a kid game, but it's like more of a momentum thing. You actually have physical roller coaster pieces that you're rolling a marble along, and the longer you can get that marble to go, the more points you get, or something along those lines. I want something more strategic than that. Like, I've played Steam Park, and that was all right. But maybe something that's like you're building a roller coaster park, like maybe Dinosaur World with a roller coaster theme, something along those lines. So there you go. I loved Roller Coaster Tycoon. I played so many versions of it. My mom used to play it. My last honorable mention, but it's just too many pirate games out there. But Pirates of the Caribbean could be done into some board games, I think.
Yeah.
There you go. That's all I got.
Like Dan had mentioned in the comments, I'm a big Blade Runner fan. So like, give me a good Blade Runner board game, please.
What game are you talking about, Nix?
There's one that exists that kind of sucks. Sorry. I know the guy who designed it. It's not a dig on him. It's just the game is not great. Roller Coaster.
I saw this one. It's from 2002, and it looks like a kid's game. It doesn't, almost looks like a rolling move, to be honest. But I could be wrong. I really don't know.
But yeah, Dan and I have had many conversations about what a good Blade Runner game would be. Katia, I don't know if you're familiar with Blade Runner, the movie at all. So like, basically, they're things called replicants. They are robots or androids, but they look like people, and they don't always know that they're replicants. Like they think they're real people. And so the whole idea, a Blade Runner is somebody that is like kind of like a cop or a bounty hunter that goes out to find who the replicant is. Like, and so it'd be like a hidden traitor, hidden identity kind of game. But the thing is the cool thing about Blade Runner and the way that it's done is you may not know if you're a replicant.
Okay.
So it's like really mind twisty.
This sounds like The Thing.
Yeah, kind of. Another one that I would go into would be, and I don't know if Katia played this game. There was a game I was obsessed with on PlayStation. There was two of them. One of them was called Deception, Tecmo's Deception. And so basically you were like this ghost in this castle, and people would come into your castle and they'd be like, I'm going to get all the treasures of this castle. And you're like setting traps in the castle, and you're luring people through your castle to kill them with the traps. So like maybe you'd have like this big axe, like you need to get somebody to walk through this hallway, and you have this big axe like swing through, and then you could get them if you space the spike trap the right way. They would the axe would hit them, and then they'd land in the spike trap. And then you do enough damage, you had to kill them before they could escape the castle. So you had to like let them get in deep enough, because if you hurt them too bad, they start to run out. So you'd have to kill them before they would. Super morbid. Anyways, it was called Tecmo's Deception. It was a game I absolutely loved. There was another game I loved pre-Pokemon called Monster Rancher. Did anybody play Monster Rancher? So in Monster Rancher, you could put a CD, any CD into the game, and it would generate like this monster. And so like certain.
Oh.
I don't even know this one. So
No, but it rings a bell. I bet you I've seen it before. I didn't own it, but it definitely rings a bell.
Ugh, this one's.
I'm back now. I buffered. I'm back. Monster Rancher, you would be trying to collect all these different kinds of monsters, and then you battle them in an arena. You'd level them up. You'd develop their traits. You could merge them. I never played the barcode one. I only played the CD one because I was old. But anyways, Monster Rancher was my jam. I absolutely love Monster Rancher. And I don't know if it was the same as the cartoon.
I don't know what these things are.
I don't know, but another one that would have been really, really cool is, I mean, aside from like the strawberry shortcake that came up in the chat, but My Pet Monster. Did you not watch My Pet Monster as a kid?
Oh,
The blue monster.
this guy. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, I do remember this. That one does take me back. I forgot about this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool.
Oh, where'd he go? I was just getting his
Yes.
leg.
That's a creepy doll.
A plushie.
Yeah, the cartoon was not as creepy. But yes, there was a villain. There was, yeah. Like the big, yeah, it had like a portal. It was like a TV screen that would open up like, and then the big monster, the villain would show up in there.
Nice. I don't remember really watching that though.
Oh, that was like an after-school cartoon.
Man, yeah. I don't remember watching that.
Great.
Where'd Tim go? Is he back? There he is.
I think he's got.
I'm back.
Oh, he's there.
Yeah, I don't know why. I was doing pretty good most of the night, and then it started to get really weird late. Like nobody's on my internet. Like I don't know why it's getting weird.
I don't know.
Classic.
Oh, Dungeon Pets. No, that's different. Dungeon Pets is. I mean, Dungeon Pets is good. I've only ever played it with 2 players, which means that you need the AI. Like,
yeah. I don't love controlling.
No, I hate when you. But I did like the premise, and the monsters are really cute in it, and I totally got the upgraded bits. But I haven't even played it since I got the upgraded bits. Like,
it is a really fun game.
Yeah, a friend of mine loves it, so hopefully at some point I can play it again.
Yeah, it's great. Very, very thematic game. When you get done playing a game of Dungeon Pets, you'll say something like, "You're not going to be like, oh yeah, I won 25-21. You'll say something like, remember, you bought the pet I wanted, and I couldn't afford any others. So the pet you had, I bought all the food, so you had to starve him. And then when you went to sell him, they didn't want him because he was diseased." That's what a game of Dungeon Pets always plays out like. I love that game.
Yeah.
That game also does a very cool action bidding where the number of meeples or imps, whatever they are, your workers that you commit, the bigger the group, you go first in order. So you got like a screen. You're like, okay, I got 4 workers that I'm going to send to this spot, but the other players don't know that. And if you outbid them, you get priority. So you get to go first with your 4 workers. I always thought that idea was really cool.
Have you ever played the game? It's called Bridge Troll.
No.
So it's a super like no name kind of game. Like you never see people playing it. So I found out about it because my former in-laws had bought it like in a discount bin in the US. They brought it back. We started playing, and it's basically the premise is that you are a troll and you're trying to eat people. So everybody has this like curved piece of cardboard, which is your bridge, and you have cubes of your color, and you're bidding with your own cubes. So when you're done bidding, whatever amount of cubes you have left, you hide them underneath your bridge so that nobody sees them. But basically, you're bidding for, turn order. So it's like, am I going to be the first one to pick out of the people that are there? And the people that are there either give you meat or money. So because you eat them, right? So you're trying to get people into your display. And then when you want to cash them in for points, you have to try and match like money and meat at the same level. And that's how much points you get. And
Is this the right one?
Pardon?
Is this the right one that I have on the screen? Bridge Troll?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there might be a different like artwork on maybe another, but yeah, that's definitely.
Because there was another one that popped up that was called Troll Bridge.
No, it's Bridge Troll.
Okay.
Definitely Bridge Troll.
Here's what's crazy about this. This is Ryan Laukett art. I never would have guessed that by looking at this.
Oh my
What?
God. No.
Right? Yeah, it says Ryan Laukett
Never
art.
would have guessed.
That's what it says.
He's gotten
I
so
don't
much
think
better.
that was the cover that I was used to, but scroll down a bit.
Sure.
So like the other, yeah. So okay, hold on. Wait, go back.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
think
that's
it's
all
that
I got.
second picture there.
Oh, that looks like kind of one of the
wait, no,
cards
it doesn't
there.
come with minis, not even close. But that would be like, so that's your little bridge. So it has like a troll on it,
Mhm.
and then you have your cubes. So the thing is, you're bidding with the cubes, and then when you're like winning a bid, you end up grabbing like, basically everybody puts their pile back on their bridge, and then if you won the bid, you get to pick whichever pile you want for your next round. So eventually the cubes, the colored cubes get mixed up, but you can only ever bid with one color. So you're trying to like gather as much of the same color as you can when you're like winning the bid so that you can grab like more of the kind that you want.
Right.
You have like this one special card that allows you to mix match, but it's just a like ridiculous game. Your trolls eating people ultimately. It kind of reminds me of like Guillotine and the like silly theme of like, let's chop some heads.
Oh my gosh, it's by Z-Man and it's still available. I'm shocked.
I was waiting for you to say that, Mike.
I always have to.
You never hear about it, but it's actually really fun.
It actually sounds cool. I'm a big fan of bidding games because they force interaction in a way that other games don't. It's not like you pay attention to what other players are doing and you hope they don't take something you want. No, when you're bidding, you have to figure out what you think other players are going to do, or you're not going to get to do anything.
Yeah,
I love
this game. You can't just go the whole game without bidding and be like, nah, I'm just gonna go last every time. Because there are rounds you're not gonna get anything at all because you roll the die and the die determines how many cards will be up on that round. So if let's say it's a 4-player game, you might roll it's like a weather die, I don't know, but like if there's 2 clouds on it, you're only gonna have 2 cards up that round. So that means that 2 people aren't getting cards at all. So you're having, like, you have to bid, otherwise you don't get anything. And obviously, if you don't get anything, you're not going to make any points. So, but wow. It's a really fun game.
I definitely have never heard of that one.
Yeah, it's good.
Wow.
That sounds fun.
I've played it probably 5 times. Like, I would have game, like with my former in-laws, like we'd have game weekends, and that one kept coming back on the table. Like it was just one of those where it's like, hey, want to play Bridge Troll? Yeah.
I'm still shocked that's Ryan Laukett. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I know, right?
That I did not know that. That's shocking because it's cover was not. Yeah, the artwork altogether was just not.
And David asked a question.
It's old.
Have
Oh,
I
wait.
tried the Bloody End? Not only have I tried it, but I freaking love it. I love the artwork in that game.
That game is fantastic.
I need to play
love the
that one.
Bloody End. So
Yes.
good, so dark. So, Katia, I gotta ask you, Katia. Sorry, I'm gonna try to start saying your name correctly, Katia. We have had this discussion, and we have received criticism for our opinions about artwork in board games. In your opinion, just your opinion, the box
I
art of the
can't hear
game-
you.
You're cutting out
Your
some.
microphone
Tim.
is like- no, it's your
No,
mic.
no, it's cutting in and out. We're missing like the first 5 seconds of everything you say.
Okay, hold on.
There we go. We sound better already.
Hold on. Let me get
Okay.
better.
Okay, we're
Better.
good. I know. I'm just gonna kick back.
Okay,
I wish I had popcorn.
I was-
I'd pop it for this
I
question.
was trying to charge my phone a little bit.
You're good.
Okay, so we've gotten some heat before because, in my opinion, and I'm totally open to other people's opinion now, and I want to
We
know,
all are.
box art can affect whether or not I pick a game up off a shelf or not, right?
Yep.
So if I pull a game, if it's got like super amazing box art, I'm more likely to pick it up and even flip it over and read what the game's about. Sometimes it's like, holy shit, I just love this box art so much. So there have been games where it's like, I don't love the box art. And then I play the game and I'm like, oh, the game's amazing, right? So like that Bridge Troll game, it's like, I would have looked at that box art and gone, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. But most Ryan Lockett games, like contemporary Ryan Lockett, like games where he's done the art and obviously he's designed, I'm like, oh, I'm in blind buy almost. Right. So anyways, as an artist, I'm just going to call you an artist because you create art. Does that affect your opinion sometimes in games?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not just box cover, it's cards, the board, like all of that to me ends up making a difference. I have to be off, like if there is a drab looking board game, like a Euro that looks all brown, somebody has to say, hey, do you want to play this? And I'll be like, sure, because I kind of give everything a try. If you're going to teach me, it's like, sure. And then I'll play it, and then I might love it because the game is actually so good and the art doesn't really matter in the gameplay. So that will sell me on the game. But if I'm at the game store and there's a really, really ugly box cover or something where it's like I can barely read the title properly because the font is all wonky.
Oh, sure.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me that's like I'm just gonna pass over that one. Unfortunately. And that's like, yeah, like I did some graphic design way back. Yeah, that would
one of my all-time favorite games has some of the worst box art ever.
Where is the title? If you see that in the game store and you're like, what's it called? Because the gold on the brown gets lost.
And for me, I'm one of the people that is just her face and the very motionless guy to the right that she's trading with. And how would you ever guess what this game is about?
Yeah, that is just,
So yeah, to your point, a good box cover will make you pick it up and look at it. Yeah. When you're playing it, components, board art, card art add to the theme and the immersion if they're done well. And I think it's hard to ignore that.
Thanks, Nixit11G.
Yeah, he's one of our regulars. He's an awesome dude.
Yeah, Food Chain Magnet never played it, but that's because I heard it's really like
It's crunchy and it's
I don't
long.
think it would be my type of game.
Crunchy and long.
Yeah, the other thing. So for
I
example,
think it's cool looking though.
Castles of Burgundy. When
Yeah.
I first got into gaming, and it was something that, it's like you'd hear, oh, it's really, really good, and then you'd pick up the box and you're like, I don't see it. You turn the box over, you're like, I don't know, and then finally it's like, okay, let's buy it, and it was fantastic. It's one of my favorite games. But
Same.
The first edition was like, whew.
I will say that I've never played Castles of Burgundy, and the majority of that reason is because of the box art. Like,
Okay,
nobody I knew had it. And then when I was looking at it, and it's like, this isn't something I'm going to pick up because this game looks ugly. I've since heard amazing things about it. I would love to play it.
so I'm hoping that maybe before QSCon, I mean, it might not happen, but hopefully before QSCon, the Game Found like Super Ravensburger edition.
Oh yeah,
comes in, because I pledged on the whole thing. Like,
nice.
Even all the terrain, all the miniature buildings and stuff, everything.
I went for the all-in.
Wow.
Listen, Mike, she's got that calendar money, dude. She can back whatever she wants at the fullest level.
I will tell you right now, that is the most like over the top game I've ever pledged for. Like,
It is.
It was one of those where it came up and it was like looking at what it came with, and I'm like,
Look what this is now, Tim. Look at
have
this.
to have it.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks way better.
It's gorgeous. And yeah, like you said, they have, so I didn't get all of that because I'm like, it's going to get in the way, because all you do with all the miniatures is just you plop them on your board. You don't move them around. And like, I'm not giving you a hard time for doing it. Like, I love the game and I'm glad you're getting everything. Like, cheers. I'm just like, man, I don't even move these pieces. You know what I mean? They're just going to sit on the board.
They become your domain.
But it's going to look so good when you're done playing it.
Be a master of your domain. You get it? You watch Seinfeld?
Oh, Seinfeld, one of my all-time favorite shows. Thank you, Katia. Oh my God, that's one of my all-time favorite shows.
It's one of their best episodes. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh,
it was fantastic. Anyways, but yeah,
I'm out.
On it.
I know. I'm out. Have some money.
Slap that money right off the table.
But yeah,
I'm getting excited.
That game, like, yeah, it's completely excessive, but it was one of those where it's like, okay, so I think for example,
More people crapping on
somebody
us.
went and got Foundations of Rome versus this. It's like, for me, that's the game. That's the game.
I enjoy Foundations,
Foundations of Rome,
but I like Castles of Burgundy better.
I probably will like Castles of Burgundy better. Just gonna say it.
Tim has switched to water. What is wrong?
I can't wait.
Mostly because I've drank like a lot of bourbon tonight.
I'm through 2 glasses.
I'm through like 4, and if I keep going, I'll be up till 2 a.m. talking to Katia about whatever, as long as she doesn't hang up on us.
I can't go until 2.
I don't even want to tag
I
this
shouldn't.
comment.
I shouldn't.
I'm gonna.
Yeah,
I've already had multiple ideas or things I enjoyed crapped on tonight, and it's happening again, but that's okay.
Bob also hasn't played Castles. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I haven't played Castles either.
I know.
Yeah,
and I don't like bring it out because it's like, I don't know. Tim would play it. Bob would probably like it. But I know Dan doesn't like it. So I don't really try.
Well, Dan doesn't like fun.
It's kind of like, I've never played, what is it, Stone Age?
It's okay.
Never played Agricola.
Misery Farm.
I've played Caverna, but not Agricola.
Caverna's better.
Caverna's way better.
That's funny.
I haven't played Power Grid.
Same.
I haven't played it.
And I really want to because it's an auction game.
Yeah, never played that. But it's funny. We were talking about the ugly like box art. the person who does the box art for like Caverna and like Grand Austria Hotel.
Clemens
Clemens Franz.
That's just not my thing.
No, he
Yeah.
has.
That's why I
Actually.
haven't played Grand Austria Hotel. The cover is just.
He has a style. He has
No.
a style, and it either works or it doesn't.
It's not.
How are your feelings about Orleans?
Listen, I love
Okay.
Orleans.
Oh,
Shut
that
up, Mike.
game is fantastic. And again, I would have never picked it up. My sister showed me the game, and it's so good. Yeah, it's so good.
Mike, am I doing it? Mike, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right?
Pretty close. Pretty close. I'll make sure. I'll show you. I will say though, I learned a little Easter egg today. So just yesterday, I placed an order for a few games. I've got some on the way, and one of them is the draw and write version of this. It's Joan of Arc draw and write. It's a roll and write version where you're pulling your chips out of the bag, and that's what you turn into actions and write them on your board. The Easter egg is that the blue person with the horribly drawn helmet that you can't tell which way their face is facing.
Left.
I guess. I don't know. It's just weird to me. That's Joan of Arc.
Oh, interesting.
What? In
That
the
is-
helmet?
That is Joan of Arc in the helmet. How do I
Okay.
know this? Look at that picture. Then look at this picture.
Is it the heraldry on the shield?
It's the same armor. That's Joan of Arc on the Orleans cover.
Well, she's got no boobs in both.
Well, at least her wrist is fixed now.
What was wrong with her wrist? What?
It just,
Go look at the old one.
Go back to the
this hand, this weird hand. Just, what are we doing? I just,
Hey, forget
This one-
about it.
Oh wait,
That's
you're
other
talking
stuff.
about the bald person.
both.
Yeah, what's wrong? What's wrong with the bald person?
Bald person.
Oh no, I don't know, like the arms just like too tight up on the body. Like, did you just drop a sandwich? This was the worst one for me as far as Clemens Franz art. This one.
Pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
I mean, there's so many I think that are fine. Like this one looks great.
No, that's just no.
I'm good with this one. I mean, for Clemens Franz, I'm okay with this one.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, it's better than Orleans. Now that you point it out that way.
But yeah, he's got all the ooey
Not my
games that
style.
just not everybody's favorites.
No. I think it's the thick black outlines that I don't know.
That's interesting you say thick black outlines, because the whole reason Tim asked this question was a game where it's like supposed to kind of be an action scene, but it looks like everybody's just stuck. They're like, okay, and stop. All right, I'm gonna start drawing.
Oh,
And it's all thick black outlines.
can you show me?
Are we, Tim?
Hey, man. Whatever. Anything goes. I don't care.
So we caught some flack because our reviewers didn't necessarily like.
So this is a review that I was not in on, but I have made
Me
very
either.
vocal that I do not like this box art at all. And the box art was the reason I had not played this game. This is a prominent game designer who's very popular, and they initially shared our review on their Discord, and then once they revealed that that people on the show didn't love the artwork, we started to get kind of like hated on.
Okay,
For a
hold on.
minute.
But is the game good though?
Supposedly,
it's
I
very
haven't played it.
Oh, you still haven't played it.
I still haven't
We
played it.
have it. Andrew, Dan, and Jan did, and they said it was great.
Okay. let me
And
see.
Bob, maybe. Yeah.
No Bob. Yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite.
Did you play it, Mike? You haven't played it yet.
I haven't played it.
You gotta bring it up.
But Andrew brought it to my everybody's attention that he is a tattoo artist, and when I look at it that way, that's all I can see now.
Oh, that would make sense for the big, thick black outline.
Right.
Mhm.
Yep.
And there's lots of his art that I really, really like. Like I'm not saying, none of us are really saying that it's not good. That, like, this one I like a lot. Same guy. I like this box cover a
Okay,
ton.
so I don't know what you're showing, but I haven't seen anything.
He hasn't shown
Oh.
anything yet.
Oh
Mike
my
hasn't shown
gosh,
anything yet.
don't even
you're talking
have.
about Circadian. Oh, okay.
Okay.
No, that's
So-
not the game. That's not the game.
So this is the one
No, you're
we
talking about
like.
Circadians.
What?
Yes.
You're talking about Circadians.
Yes.
This is the one.
Okay, so
Sorry.
but you're not the only one who has hated on that box art.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, that was one of the things that, because, okay, so first of all, everybody was used to Garfield using the Miko.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's
True.
like, boom, they dropped this game. It's like, you're like, wait, what? What happened? And then it is so different. You're used to games like from the Miko that it looks like a cartoon. You can see the art piece of it.
Mhm.
Where this one looked to me like it looked like somebody who is starting to, and you're showing the Chaos Order, which I think was an expansion, maybe. Or
Yeah,
something.
there's First Light. There's First Light, and then there's
This
Chaos
was the
Order.
second one, and it's
First
a
Light-
standalone.
First Light to me was like a shock to the system.
Yeah. Now, Dan makes a comment, and he's right, but he's also like not 100% right. We spent a few hours taking flack on their Discord for the comments, and then Shem watched the video and goes, "Well, it's not as bad," but he still did kind of like shit on us for talking about the art. And then everybody else, all the sycophants on the page, and I get it, they're on the page because they're fans of his games.
Yeah.
But they all then were like, oh, well, art is so subjective and blah, blah, blah. But yes, it is 100%. But I feel like if we're going to review a game, right, if we're going to talk about a game, we need to talk about like our whole experience with it and what either drew us in or didn't to the game, right? Like I was reluctant to come to this game because it didn't look that good to me for whatever reason. And then how it won me over. So that also then affected sort of what they had to say, didn't love our opinions. They didn't feel like there were people that said that board game reviewers shouldn't comment on the artwork on a game because art is so subjective.
No, see, I don't, and Raiders of Scythia, same thing for me. Same reaction. I see that and it's like, I have a hard time.
What about the newest one that just is getting the backers? This one.
I had not seen it until just now.
It's pretty.
I'm having I mean, I don't know what's happening. The water is attacking him, I guess, but like I don't know what the game's about.
Right.
Part of it I think is because to me, the difference was that like, so it's Sam, right? Is it Sam McDonald?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sam's art,
or Sam Phillips, sorry.
Or Sam, is it Sam Phillip? No.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chum's brother that does the art. And so that's kind of why we were getting killed on it. And
okay.
so yes, one person named us like by name, but then several people like dogpiled on about just in general, reviewers don't know what they're talking about, or like even Shem said, they're regurgitating stuff that they've heard from bigger channels.
Oh my God.
Then he watched the review and then kind of walked some stuff back. But at the same time, I kind of it just made me want to reinforce my point is that like, no, art design and everything does matter to me.
It does.
100%. The artwork matters in the game experience. The graphic design matters in the experience. If I can't make sense of your iconography, you lose me.
Right.
If I constantly have to go back to a reference sheet or in the rule book to be like, what does this do again? What does this mean again? Because it's not clear. That matters. So it's like if the artwork is incredibly I'm not saying that about those games. I'm just saying
No.
in general term. If the artwork to you is like drab or whatever it is, or it doesn't look nice, or it's not appealing, you're not going to be enjoying the experience as much.
And so for me also though, right, I'm a lot of times in a position of trying to get people to play games that don't always play games or that aren't into games as much as I am.
Mhm.
So like Mike is going to be, and you would be more into like, oh, hey, I got this game. Tim says it's fun. We're going to play it. Let's try it out. Right. But like, if I'm trying to convince like non-gamers or people that are more reluctant, if it doesn't like pop, I've got a much harder sell to go.
Yeah.
And yes, art is subjective, right? Different art is going to jive better with different people. I 100% get that. But if we're going to review our experience, we're going to talk about our experience with a game, you got to talk about all of it, right? Because there are games that I absolutely love that have garbage artwork. Concordia is number one. That is one of my all-time favorite games. One of the ugliest boxes in my collection, like I don't care. Like it's fine. I love that game. If you know, kind of thing. But at the same time, it's really hard to.
It is really hard, Tim.
Yeah, and so the thing, I'll pull this back up because I'm 100%. Me and Tim both agree about a couple things specifically about this game. One, Concordia is one of the greatest games ever made.
Agreed.
Two, the box is absolutely hideous.
Agreed.
And so I did show a very old version of it, but all they did, so there's
They changed their dress color.
Yeah, they changed part of the color of it. So instead of that gold you were talking about, they put like a burgundy back there, and I'm trying to find so this one. Here it is.
Oh no,
Yep.
okay.
So now the label pops a little bit, but still issues with how things are drawn, and nothing about this cover draws me in and makes me want to play it. But then, okay, so on top of that, then they totally redid the box, and then they made this one, and this looks much better.
That's better.
But there's still nothing about that box that makes me want to play the game. So, and it's a shame because I still feel like it's one of the greatest games ever made. So
that game I played because I was at Origins and we played it there. We like rented it from the library or whatever. And I was also told the other expansion, like the Salsa expansion, is really good. So it's again one of those where it's like if I had not been told, "Hey, let's play this," and taught me, I probably would have never picked this up.
Yeah, why would you pick this up from the box? Exactly. And I think it's a shame because sometimes, and this is kind of what we're getting at, this is a highly regarded game. It's number 21 on Board Game Geek. It has actually gone up in the rankings the last several years, which is crazy for a 10-year-old game. I remember 5 years ago, this was in the 40s, and it's still climbing. The box holds this game back, and it's an incredible game. I went years not even looking into this game, not touching it, not even interested in it. And then, like, it was one of those games where, like, you're 3 turns in and you're like, whoa, this is really good. This is one of those games that did that to me. And I just feel like we're talking about a similar situation potentially with the previous game we mentioned, and that's Chaos Order. That may be a great game, but most people don't like the look, and that's going to prevent them from picking up the box.
Yeah, it's unfortunately, like, I understand people, like, the publishers have to make a decision for the the artist, and the designer doesn't get to pick the artist, and so it's unfortunate because sometimes the pairing doesn't really work. And you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Like I just binge watched the She-Hulk series, and I judged it by its preview.
By the trailer,
completely turned me off of watching the show. I was like, "What the hell is this garbage?" And then I kept hearing people say good things about it, including Michael Giuliano, my co-host. And finally, I was like, "Okay, well, I got time. I'll watch it." And it was really, really good. but unfortunately, it's like first impressions matter, and yeah.
And Dan's got a point, and you could lump a lot of the old Ravensburger games in, but yeah, this one, and there's a lot of older Ravensburger covers that are just kind of blah. I just remember when Puerto Rico was the #1 game on BGG, so I wanted to play it because of that. That was many years ago, but I remember that time. That was, I think, right before Agricola jumped it and held it for like 4 or 5 years.
Misery
a while
farm.
ago.
Ugh.
Yeah. But Puerto Rico is a fantastic game, and I am glad they made a newer version because it looks pretty good.
Yeah, Puerto Rico is great. Great game.
I was
Yeah,
trying
But
to
yeah.
I don't know how
Old-
That's another one of the older ones I've never actually played.
Well, the problem now is it's like, and I say this as a movie fan, is sometimes these older games that other games have been like built upon, they almost feel like homework at this point. And it's like, oh, well, you should play this, or you should watch that classic movie. You should watch Citizen Kane. And you're like, well, it's not the same as like today's movies. It doesn't feel the same. It's not paced, the same way. Yeah. And you could go back and like watch it with like a critic's eye and like appreciate it, right? You could play Puerto Rico or Dominion, right, with this eye of like, oh yeah, like I see now where it spawned all of these other deck builders that I'd always rather be playing, than Dominion. Not to say Dominion's a bad game, but I would rather play so many other deck builders over Dominion.
Clank to me
a million times over.
This is like, and
it clicks.
Part of it is because I played the crap out of Dominion. When I came back to like modern gaming, like Dominion was the one that it was like, bought a bunch of expansions, played the crap out of it. So eventually, it becomes like choosing which 10 cards you're going to play with that game when you have 5 expansions becomes tedious in its own, and you're having to like sort things so that it's easy to like pick from. But yeah, it's pioneer of the deck building. Yeah,
man. And Dan's talking about evergreens here, and I know Dan's also going to agree because Puerto Rico is still good. But have you played Ra yet? Katia, have you played
Ra? Yeah.
Oh, I love Ra so much. And then the new edition, I just got my Kickstarter copy. It's so beautiful. Ian O'Toole art, and then like really amazing player boards. You talk about iconography, the iconography is so good on it. Like you don't even need to open the rule book. The iconography is so good if you've already played it, because you just.
So this is one of those weird ones where so I've played Raw several times. When I saw the remake, and I love it's 25th Century, right? Who republished?
Yes.
Yeah, I love their stuff. When I saw that cover, I was like, I didn't love it. Pull up the old one. Pull up the old cover.
See if you can find old Ra.
I'm sure you can. It can't be that far. Far. Like this just
there it is. There it is.
Yeah, see, to me, I was like, yeah. I don't know. The new one did not do it for me.
I think I agree with part of what you're saying, where there's parts of this box that I may prefer than the newer version of the box. However, the color choices and the components, so like the actual game components, very blah. Then we actually get, this is where Tim's going to try to sell me on it. So I buy it.
The box is huge. Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah, it's a thick boy.
It's just that
it's like so much stuff. Yeah.
That looks so rough.
It's a chongus. It's a chonkers.
Yeah,
show that first player marker.
Like the components, and I saw Benzonator's unboxing video real quick, and yeah, the components are unreal.
That's kind of what I'm trying to find. But
when they launched it, I was like, oh, I did not love that cover at all. But
it is
like it's a fun game, but I think it overstays its welcome a little bit for me.
Oh my gosh, this plays so fast for me, but I guess, again, everybody's experiences are different.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah,
is just one that I absolutely love.
The
Was
table
so happy I did.
presence on this one is vastly superior.
Oh, I bet. I bet. The other one was very bland. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I do agree with parts of what you're saying about that box, though. Like that brown and beige doesn't help me much, but that character is drawn very well. Where was that? That Fantasy Flight box. Anyway.
Oh, that old one. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
The
Yeah, that
character's
character's
drawn
done well. No, this the new raw box feels more like hieroglyphics to me.
Yeah.
It's a style choice. It lands with me, does not land with Katia, and that's again why art is subjective.
Yeah.
Look at this.
No, that's not the same.
That's
game.
the
That can't be.
Brazilian version.
I want that
Oh,
version.
What?
Look
That
at
box is
that.
amazing.
Call up Ron. Look at that. That's awesome. Yeah, that one's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Well done. Well
I want that box version so
Yeah.
bad. So
Right?
Mike, bring up that old
Oh.
Ravensburger that looks like Puerto Rico.
Here's the original. Here we go.
Oh,
Here we go.
yeah, it's rough.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
I'll take
definitely the new one compared to that. Yeah, that's
I'll take this over that one for sure.
Not close.
But
Yeah, because that one did get, like you said, that was what that looked like a Fantasy Flight box. That first one I showed where the character was detailed.
mhm.
I have to try to find that, but yeah. Anyway, art matters though. It does.
it does.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, Mike,
Yes.
it is 11:30.
I was just gonna say, it's got my bedtime.
Yeah,
Listen,
it is.
Katia, I'm not going to put you on the spot and make you commit to coming back on
I'll come back.
live in front of everybody.
Of course,
But-
I'll come back.
Holy crap.
He's
It
coming
was
back.
awesome. Awesome having you on. Long overdue. And I will just say it is because we were originally talking about like, oh, we should do it, when it's closer to our Kickstarter. Spoiler alert, we're going to make you come on when it's closer to your Kickstarter. Please. We're going to beg you to come on when it's closer. Because it's been so much fun. So much fun.
Aw. Well, thanks for having me. That was super fun.
It was a blast. We're so happy you finally joined us, and we definitely have to do it again.
Yes.
And also, Mike and I tried so hard to alienate Katia before she even came on. We were sharing our worst and most offensive jokes with her in a private chat, and she doubled down and threw them right back in our faces.
Yeah.
And she was not put off by it one bit.
I'm still here, so
Yeah. No, and so honestly though, it's seriously super awesome to have somebody like you on the show, and is genuinely been our pleasure. It really has.
thank you. Likewise.
And the only reason I've had that number one scrolling at the bottom this whole time is just so I could throw out you're our number one favorite guest. Hey.
Thanks.
Yeah, Mike, eat your heart out. Not Mike Rice, Mike Giuliano.
Oh, please. He's a hoot too.
Oh, he's amazing. He's great, but
Oh yeah. You guys are all awesome. We appreciate you guys jumping on the stream with us so much.
Of course. Yeah. No, it's super fun. It's super fun.
yeah, no, it's been
It's
great.
funny because today like Mike mentioned, we met for the first time at Gen Con. And I remember Tim and I met at PAX the December before. I don't know if you remember this, Tim.
I was not at PAX, so
Wait.
it wasn't me.
Origins.
Origins, yes.
We met at Origins. We crossed paths, and I remember Tim being like, "Oh my God, we have to take a picture. Mike is going to be so jealous that I ran into you."
Yes. We were at what's his name? Jason McClure. We were at somebody else's booth. He was working a booth where they were promoting game distribution or something. And yes, that's where I ran into Katia, and I go, and I said those exact words.
Yeah.
So to Katia's credit,
Yeah.
I said, Mike is going to be so jealous. I have to get my
took
picture
a
with you.
selfie together, which I still don't have. You never sent it to me, so please, now that we're on Messenger,
Wow.
send it to me.
I'll
But yeah,
find it.
that
Yeah.
was funny because I remember him say, "Yeah, Mike's gonna be so jealous," and at this, I was like, "And who are you?"
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
But now things have changed. Now things changed.
Now, hopefully, like this much, maybe when I talked to Katia at Gen Con, she kind of remembered who I was, like maybe this
Yeah,
much.
Oh yeah, I 100% did. I did.
Because if you didn't, you faked it very well.
I did. I knew you were part of the show. Every
But
time
yeah.
you heard that, oh my god.
I'd buy that, Bob. I'd buy that for $1.
No.
But no. It was so much fun. It's hilarious that you remember that, because those were the exact words I said. Because I think, well, I knew you would have no idea who I was, right? And you were in the unfortunate position of being like, oh, this person knows who I am. How awkward is this? Like, how big of a jerk will I be if I say, no, I don't want to take my picture with this guy? So you were nice and you took a picture with me. But then, yeah, I was like, no, my friend Mike. Well, I say no, my friend Mike, whatever. Mike's going to be so jealous I got my picture with you. So good. I love that you remember that.
I never say no to people who are like, oh my God, go take a picture. Because I get like 1 or 2 per con. That's it. Like, and part of it is because now too, we have the masks. Oh my gosh, that would be something.
That's funny.
But yeah, like I don't get recognized that much, and especially if I don't have a badge, like I don't know.
Oh, sure.
I look very much like everybody else when I have a mask on, so it's like, who's gonna know who I am? Nobody. But yeah, you spotted me. There's like I would say like 1 or 2 per con tops.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's not
so
that much.
Yeah, it was like Jason McCracken, I believe is his name.
Jason McCracken. Yeah.
It was at Jason. He was at the booth he was working at. I was talking to him, and you walked up, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, I know who this person is.
He was at the oh God, what are they called? It's a manufacturer.
Yeah, he was working there for a manufacturer. So he had a bunch of games there that he couldn't sell.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's oh God, what are they called? Oh, hold on. Long Pack. Their bag is right there in my living room.
Perfect.
Like, it was a light blue bag. Oh yeah, the thing I just bought the other day. It's in my Long Pack game. That's it. Long Pack.
But he was a super nice dude, and I really enjoyed talking to him. And then of course you walk up while that's happening, and then it's like,
and then you're like, bye, Jason.
Yeah. Well, then it was clear that you knew him. So then it's like, now I'm the third wheel. I got to get out of here. But I got my picture, and I'm going to send this to Mike immediately, which I believe I did, Mike. I was like,
you did. Yeah.
Yeah. You won't believe who I just met. Eat your heart out.
Yeah, he got to meet you before I did. And I talked to you way before I talked to Tim for the first time. No, that's not true. Because the challenge was 2021. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was talking to Tim before you.
Oh, no, we were friends. That's how I sent it to you.
Yeah, I know.
What's funny is that same Gen Con, so later on, like one of the evenings after we just got back from dinner, we're walking in the halls of, Origins. We're walking in the hall of Origins, and everything's empty except that Grant is just finishing his comedy show. Mm-hmm. So people are starting to exit, and the guy from Sheer Boredom,
mm-hmm.
He's got so Roberto,
mm-hmm.
He comes out, and he's like, "Oh my God, can we take a picture together?" And I was like, "Oh yeah," because I've been on his show, but it was like a long time ago. So, anyways, we go to take a picture together, and then Grant is like, and then I'm like fangirling that Grant is even there present.
Yeah.
Then Grant's like, "Oh, I'll take the picture for you guys." And so Roberta and I are like standing there smiling. And then he's taking forever taking a picture. And Roberto's like, you asshole, you're just taking a picture of yourself. So Grant was sitting there
Just taking pictures of him.
taking a picture of you guys. Meanwhile, he's got it on selfie mode. And so I have a bunch of like Grant pictures. Like selfie before he finally flipped it over and took a picture of us. But that was the funniest thing. And it was the same origins. I was like, what is taking so long? And then finally he got called on it. And I'm like, show me my phone. And they had a bunch of Grant smiley pictures.
That's so good.
I was like, I told I have to pull that prank on somebody now. Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a great origins.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was an awesome time.
I know. I'm sad to miss it this year, but there's a lot in June for me, so it's it's just too much time off work, and then at that point is when I have to send like the calendar to print and all of that fun stuff. So
I get it. Important stuff.
Which will be on Kickstarter next month.
Early May. Like, I'm really gonna try and have that preview page, that notification thing ready soon. But yeah.
And we'll have you on again right around that, right when that launches, or shortly before, because you'll be super busy when it does. And we got to think of a.
Mike.
Whoa! What?
We got to think of a what?
Another version of the challenge.
Oh yeah, yes we do.
Because I really think that's going to add like a ton of publicity to your campaign, and that's why I keep pushing for this.
No, I think we got to do something with. I mean, we could do something with game components, or something with like. So what I was thinking of when I originally said it to you is that we could do something like you grab your favorite like underrated games, or like the games you don't play as often as you should, and then you'll take a picture and you just hug them and take like a selfie. Or games that aren't played enough. Something like that. I don't know. We'll come up with something, but yeah.
All right,
like
we're gonna workshop this
on the table, and then you're like,
like you put them on the table and you just give them a big hug, and you're like, I need more love.
I remember you talking about that. I guess I wasn't visualizing it at all. Now it makes perfect sense, and I like it.
You could stack them like vertically or horizontally.
Yeah.
Just like go and grab them and give them some love. That's all.
Nice. I love it.
I'm digging it.
I think it would be fun because it would showcase games that maybe we don't know as much, or it's like, games that are just like, they just don't make it to your table enough, but they deserve to be loved.
I'm liking it.
Yeah. So we'll see. No. Yeah. We'll come up with something.
Oh God, that'd be terrible, Dan. That would be terrible.
Oh Lord.
It doesn't have to. Yeah. You could.
Do you realize how big that last one was, Dan? There were hundreds, maybe 1,000 people that did that. No, I know at least in the Revolution group there were like 300 or 400 that did that. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you want to rate. It's going to get bigger. You don't want to rate. There goes Tim again. The group's bigger, and the more people know you, it's going to blow up again. It's going to be even bigger.
I mean, if I put it on my page too, it probably will.
It will. It will. People are going to remember it from last time. And then the people that haven't done it will be like, oh, what are all these people doing? I got to do that. I'm being left out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to get really big this time. That's why you got to do it.
All right. We'll come up with something good.
I really like your idea. So, all right, we lost Tim. It's late enough. Thank you again so much. Thank you, everybody in the comments for hanging on with us this late. We will definitely do it again soon. Have a great night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.